seated. We call this meeting to order. This joint council, I think it's the 16th joint council between the Eastern Band Cherokee and the Cherokee Nation. We call this meeting to order, and first item on business is the invocation. Is Mr. Shell, was he able to be here? Charlie Shell? If not, DJ McCarter, would you do the honor of delivering the invocation?
Let's just thank the Lord, okay? And that we've come together to try this work for the same purpose, okay? Ski on Ethana, Yogi Doda, the Lily Head, Ski Staley, Ski Chisa. In a questionali, Charlie Eli Chev. Dort Glossig, og in no ektigesse, og hustige lampestak til gesse. En deze lek, kun das wat is en dat steft of you don't say. Nieuwe kan we hier Charlie Eli. Alleen gaan og hust, kanetstigesse, alleen je dan Eli nastigesse. Ni heel te lang toch de gesse. Slechts stil jou, heel lang toch de gesse. Ni hiskini. Father, we thank you for the day that as we come together, Cherokee people, Lord, to do the business for Cherokee people. Lord, we just want to keep everything in focus, and may everything that we say and do be to glorify you, Lord, honor you in all that we say and do. Father, I pray your blessings upon each and every individual and bless this meeting. Lord, we leave it in your hands. This I pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. McCarter. The next order of business, well, it is an important piece of business. It's a presentation by DJ McCarter and the Cherokee Adult Choir. DJ, you want to introduce your adult choir?
Okay. And again, we appreciate the invitation. And we've changed our name since then. We're the Cherokee Baptist Choir. Can everybody hear me? Yes, sir. No, I said I know I can make a dead horse loose. We're the Cherokee Baptist Choir. And so, again, from Baptist churches, and they come from different places, Goldsboro, Cherokee, Cherokee, Saline, Kenwood, California, Lola, Oklahoma, even Ridge Flat.
Which lady's from Rowan? Who's from Rowan?
Orphan child, and you read the Bible, John 16 chapter, where the Lord says, and I will send my spirit, and he will be with you always and never leave you. Boy, that's comforting. Then the second one that covers worship, and again in John 17 chapter, where the Lord prayed, and he prayed for you and for me. And so we just appreciate the invitation, okay?
Thank you very much, DJ. That was just absolutely beautiful, as usual. Next item are introductions. I'm Meredith Fraley. I have the privilege and quite an honor to serve as Speaker of the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council. And I will start down at the end there with Janelle Fulbright and ask them to introduce themselves and tell what district they represent and anything else that you want to, well, not anything, but a few words if you want to. Janelle?
I'm Janelle Lattimore Fulbright from Sequoyah County. It's District 3, and I've really enjoyed working with all the people on the council, and I've seen a lot of progress in the term that I've served, and I especially enjoyed being co-chair of the Health Committee. And I can truly say that I really do sincerely appreciate all the different members of the council and what they put into, and although we're all different, we have the same goal in mind, and I enjoy being on the council. Thank you.
My name is Don Gordon. I represent the Blue Rivers District. And I want to say welcome to all the Eastern Band today. Get a chance to learn the schedule, take a look at the segments, and go back to the vehicle. Hello, I'm Curtis Snell, District 5 Tribal Council member. This is my first period on the council, first term. I appreciate being here. I want to welcome all the Eastern Band and all of our friends that came to sing for us today. They did a very, very good job. And I'd just like to thank everybody. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Chris Soap from District 6, representing Mays County, and just really appreciate the opportunity to serve the people, and it's an honor to be here and take and be able to participate in these events. I appreciate our brothers and sisters from the Eastern Band, and it's again, when we get together, there's a great feeling of camaraderie, and just really feels good to interact with one another, and just appreciate the hospitality and all the good thoughts that you guys send our way. What all?
Good morning. I'm David Thornton, Seniors. I want to welcome you all here. I've been on the council since 1999. I remember the first joint meeting that I went to. It was at Cherokee, North Carolina. I never felt so at home in all my life. I really enjoyed working with the council, but the most things I enjoyed is working with my people and helping my people. And I appreciate y'all coming down here. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Joe Crittenden from Adair County, District 2, Fairleigh Parish District. This is my second term on the council. It's been quite a ride. I've enjoyed working with the people. You folks made us all feel welcome when we went back east. And I hope we're doing the same for you here this time. As David said, I enjoy working with my counterparts on the council to help strengthen our tribe and make our people's lives better. Where I really like it though and enjoy it probably the most is out there in the communities with the people and what I call real folks. I enjoy it and welcome to you all and thanks for coming, and with that I'll hush.
So, I'm Bill John Baker from Tahlequah, Oklahoma. I live at Briggs Flats, but we use that term very loosely. There's lots of hills and hollers out at Briggs. And I really think that our people, when they left the east to come to Oklahoma, that about the time they hit the Illinois River and Briggs and Barren Fork, I think it looked a little bit like home, folks. And that's where they pulled up, and that's where we've been, since the trail. When I went back east to visit the Eastern Band on I guess, 3 or 4 occasions now. It was almost like a religious experience where I felt that coming home and that kinship, and was able to see where my direct people walked and lived and all. And I'm hoping that you're getting a sense of maybe what this side of the tribe went through and what they were able to accomplish on this end of the trail. And I hope that each and every one of you truly enjoy your stay, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
I'm Tina Glory Jordan. I'm the second seat in Cherokee County, representing Cherokee County, along with Mr. Baker here to my left. Although this is my first time on the council, I learned a great deal about the council from when my dad served, and my dad was the late Mige Glory. Some of you all may remember him from other joint council meetings, and from my mother, who also served after my dad for a short period of time, Tina Mae Glory. I've been involved with the tribe since 1981, and at one time I was able to claim that I had worked under 4 chiefs for Cherokee Nation. So what little I have learned during that time, I'm so glad to help the people of Cherokee County, the Cherokee membership of Cherokee County, in some small way, in return what good things the tribe has done for me. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Harley Buzzard. I represent District 5 in the Cherokee Nation out of Delaware County. I want to thank the Creator for letting me represent the people from Delaware County, not only from Delaware County, but the Cherokee people as a whole. I know I've heard the other council members talk about their experience. I feel like I have a lot of experience with this tribe. I've worked there for 25 years. Got to know a lot of people throughout the 14-county jurisdiction of the Cherokee Nation, so I appreciate the fact that the tribe has let me work there for 25 years. I appreciate even more the fact that the Cherokee people in Delaware County elected me to represent them. So, in doing that, I want to thank the choir for coming out. I saw several Delaware County people in the choir, so I'm happy that you were able to come up to Tulsa to join us with our joint council. I want to thank the Eastern Band Cherokees for coming out. I've been out there for, I think, 2 trips, and every time I go, it brings a special effect back to you. And let us all remember the trail. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Buell Anglin. I represent District 8, which is Keeler District, which is Tulsa and Washington counties. And I'm actually in my second term too. And I'd like to welcome all of our Eastern Band of Cherokee brothers and sisters to Tulsa, and hope you enjoy yourself and enjoy. And I'd like to thank all the staff that has helped put this great event on, and we really appreciate everybody. And you guys have a safe trip home also.
My name is Jack Baker, originally from Chewy in Adair County, but a resident of Oklahoma City the last 40 years or so. And I represent the people living outside the Cherokee Nation, which is approximately 60% of the population of the Cherokee Nation. And there are 2 of us who represent the people living outside the nation. And my counterpart, Julia Coates, could not be present today. She teaches at the University of California in Davis and was here earlier in the week for the council meetings and had to return to some classes, and she sends her regrets, because I'm sure she would have loved to have been here and enjoyed the time with you as much as I have, had she been able. But it's good to see you all, and thanks for coming out.
Sion Nigada Jutanalo Cobb Gogoi. I am Bradley Cobb, and I'm from Bartlesville, which is about 30 miles north of here. I represent the Keeler District, which is Washington County and northern Tulsa County, along with my cohort Buell England here. And I am chair of the Health Committee, and I want you to know what an absolute honor it is to serve on this joint council. I've thoroughly enjoyed, this is my first term, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. And one of the something that will stick with me till the day I die is our joint council Red Clay. That was good, and it is an absolute honor to be here today. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. As Deputy Speaker, I get to do backup duties sometimes when she lets me, and I will have to say that I'm on my second term for Cherokee Nation's Council, and welcome to our district. You're sitting in Rogers County, where I have the honor of serving, and we have the pleasure of having our two largest gaming facilities. So with that, I think I would like to echo some of those comments, is that I will have the pleasure of getting to know each of you when you've served at different times on your council. I'm always honored to participate in these joint councils, because it really is meaningful to get to know each of you before we get into a dogfight with other issues where we have to help join together and protect our tribes at the federal level. So this time is sometimes difficult to get away again from our families and our businesses and our friends at home and the duties that we have each day to our districts or our townships. But it really is fruitful, because even in the short time that I've been on council, I've seen the returns from the investment that we give in the time at joint council together, and when we travel back and forth as we get to know each other. I hope that everyone sees that as well. And I just want to thank again our staff, the tribal council staff, the staff here at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, our many community members, the Cherokee Baptist Choir, our color guard, all the folks, the IT staff here today that help make this meeting possible logistically so that those folks can watch live, and all the meals, our chefs and all those folks that serve us. I just want to say a big thank you. So I hope that today is fruitful.
Mr. Al, I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm Jim Al, represent the Birdtown community. Been on council, this is my sixth term. Been there for going on 12 years now, so seems like an eternity sometime, but it's all good. I enjoy doing this work, enjoy working with the people, enjoy this council, enjoy the past 5 other councils I've worked with. I just want to say thank you for all the hospitality. It's been an honor to be here. Everything you've done for us, I think I've put on about 5 pounds from eating every night here, but very good food. Thank you all for everything you've done for us. Thank you. And I'll start down this end with Miss Teresa McCoy.
Good morning. My name is Teresa Bradley McCoy, and I represent the Big Cove community on the Qualla boundary. I have served in tribal council for 8 terms, a total of 16 years. Every one of them has been an honor and a pleasure and a lot of hard work. And I want to say this to all of you, not just those representing the tribes here today, but to all the Cherokee people in the room. If you get an opportunity to come on home, even if it's just to touch the ground for a few minutes, I encourage you to do so. I have watched your nation come a long way, and ours has too. But I think if we stay together and band together, our numbers are great. We have the technology, we have the intelligence, and we have something that no one else in this whole world has. We have Cherokee blood. Shkade.
Good morning. My name is Terry Henry. I represent the Paint Town community on the Qualla boundary. It is with tremendous pride and great humility that I sit here with you all. This is my first term sitting on the tribal council with Eastern Band, and obviously my first time at the joint council session. I want to thank each and every one of you with the Cherokee Nation for all of your hospitality. It has been tremendous. And like Jim, I'll probably increase my waistline while I've been here as well. The accomplishments that we've seen on our visit here is a testament to the resilience, to our resilience as Cherokee people and our national character. I really, with that, I'd just like to say thank you, and I look forward to this joint council session today.
Shell, good morning. My name is Perry Shell. I also represent the Big Cove community, Kolonai, Eastern Band, and I appreciate the hospitality and everything y'all have done for us. while we've been here. Congratulate you on this facility and all that you're doing to help your people. And I think it's important that we continue to have these council sessions and have other interaction, because I think it only makes us stronger. And I'd like to see more and more of our youth get involved in this as well. I know we do things already, some things, but I'd like to see even more of that. I'd like to break, I guess, from procedure here, but Marie Junaluska, former council member, I'd like to give her a couple minutes of my time. She's here working at Northeastern with the language during the symposium, but I spoke with both speakers earlier, the chairman and the speaker, and I'd like to give her just a minute to speak about our Cherokee language and what they're doing there. If y'all would entertain that, I'd appreciate it. Marie.
Thank you, Perry, and Chairman Al, and Speaker Braley. Thank you for this time. Iza yaole hanegada, dizi la wiki, dizi gawiyumi. Nole diza wailiski, nole diga languistan ehtihi, izi yaileki, izi skiagaste. Nole iza kerdas nido, izi nahi gaiza goiga. Ule heliste higa kilohiste senegalista. Thank you. And I greet each one of you, council, both councils, west and east, the chiefs, the staff, administration, and the audience. Good morning. On behalf of the Eastern Band Cherokee speakers, they thought that this would be the ideal time to come and state our appreciation for the convenings of the speakers' consortiums that we've been having and how valuable they have become. Kalaga talaki otiwanishki. Gaishai, the anoga oiga. Ostau galishai. Ogina istokti. Nula helista nole. Noxia ogilu tela hia. Sedozazovskoi. Otiwanishki nole. Nul skadia nul stanai. Ogilu tela hi talaki kawani histi. Izula no. De gadachka I. De dazovska. Una pelda he udoyo hi. I gostel dochtana nole. Utahostana. I dewanishka talaki. These meetings have greatly benefited both groups from the speakers in participation. It has strengthened our common language, and all speakers are stronger today because of all the convenings that we've had. Nagada niwanishki, agad unaniga kikotsiki. It has given our teachers and our parents stronger skills to take into classrooms and homes, and the children and youth are learning. Di dayonski, no di dayonski no la di nioli. Zuni kayali zula. Whatsi you no nikeda. Anishina shana hikotsiki. Di nioli undela kwastokti. Anik ta nole. Zune no shu uni hanstishkohi. Di nioli no nole dina tanski. Ule helisti ana de lokwa. What is progressing and growing is not just another language program. It's a living language in progress, and for it to continue as such, it's the reason that we are here today, this week, keeping the fire burning and stronger than ever before. Zalhiel no nole. Zahiyel no knowledge Zatoska here. Answer a used to go on history Udosha Yiki. Na Skiskan Yoga. Gone how to go on history. Ahiyel knowledge. Skin a used to. Ahiyel says to ye daily. Ika Huichkina no stays to ye daily. Ika the Ashe. Negada. Ideali says to that I'm no Hashkan or they want to skin it's a lucky. Skin ho, yeah, see, doors, it's off she don't he, Zaliali. He, Daughter Guidisha, go ignore his Zaliali, Osta, the Wellagishka. Oh, Zashu, yeah. What's it you naked? Would the Wellagishti or Giela? Cho lấy hai ly cái nó lấy ít cho nhà soi thì hay à đồ cho giáo sư chỉ muốn nít cái nó lấy đi ska được cái anh đây là học cái số hay anh ấy cái hoa chứ ha cái muốn nít hết tên này cái nó là Australia cái thà là artist cái nó hay đó na cho lấy cái muốn nít hết Ul scared the shine ole. Ul tally the shine. Skina ul tally the okiel hoi. No. Dita his doctor, discarduki, gasha no he. Skina he ul negative and a guste ha. So like a one history. Deal no hefty yiki nole. And they lock past the gasha. And we're happy to share that these meetings are showing speakers and the communities the power of the language. And therefore, it's reinforcing the message that Cherokee language is relevant and it's a useful tool for building community, communication, and education. We are providing for the upcoming generation what our ancestors provided for us. Do la hisha na shoko udan shoko udan yada salaki kaisha shoko salaki iti ya wiya ni kastana hi a de the soshka salaki hi di wonishka e you want hisha na hi udan hi ya u sailita de gadani ya tana. We appreciate that special closeness that has developed with the speakers, West and East. It has promoted and recreated a unified Cherokee identity. The Cherokee are now one people, again because of the convenings that we've been having. And a special bond has truly been developed. Skill not dela he agewone history gosanale nole ski tada stanela used the kinase to get shine ule hel stays the negosti di says to go ski stylish gas the hin izula wudale ka nole kalaga does of shit on home or see one is guns like nole organico histiska izula nole salaka one history of nego histiska. We appreciate your continued support of the speakers' convenings that we've been having, and we just can't thank you enough for everybody that supported this. Shki, thank you once again. Watong.
Thank you, Marie. I guess you took all of my time and everybody else's too, but it's very important what she had to say. But that is, it defines us, it's our identity. But I think it is important that, like I said a while ago, that we continue to build and nurture our tribes. We are separated not by choice. This was put on us, but we're still one people, in my view. And I think that anything we do to strengthen that relationship, y'all have changed a little bit. You eat wild onions now instead of ramps. And I think you don't eat bear meat anymore. You know, we get a lot of that, but minor things. But those important issues, though, I think that there's strength through unity. So I encourage us, to continue this and continue to do as much as we can to do more of this. That's all I have. Ski.
Thank you. I would like to say it's a pleasure to be here with you people today. It's my first time being here. My name is Diamond. We would say Ghost Eye, Uwatagein, Shio. Skin Hogidog and the Flanahin. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time being, and I was really unaware of what takes place, but it's an honor. You have treated our people very, very well. As an example, you feed us too much. Seriously. I got up this morning and I was pressing my pants. I put them on. I couldn't fit into them. So I skipped lunch yesterday. I skipped breakfast this morning. So within that, I know if I stayed here on this side, there's no telling how big I would be. Hey, Quan. Nevertheless, though, within here, it is a pleasure to meet you guys. I've met some of you, got acquainted with some of you people, and it's really an honor to be here. And within that, I look at us as one. The Creator created us all. And with what happened between splitting us up the way that the Creator did, of the people, He allowed this to happen for a reason. It's for a reason. People apologize to me all the time for what happened to our people, our ancestors. But when you think about it, those people today that are apologizing to our people for what their people had done to our people, my question to them is, did you do it to us? And the answer is no. They weren't around at that time. At the same time, within that though, I look at it, the Creator allowed this to happen. He allowed it for a reason. But when you look at it now in today's time, in 2010, look how big we've grown. Look how big we are as a nation of people. Within that, I'd like to say that I am proud. I am proud to be Cherokee. Ski. Thank you.
Sure. My name is Adam Wachacha, and I represent the Snowbird and Cherokee County communities, and it's an honor to be here with you all today. It's my first term. I was a drill sergeant before all this the council stuff approached me. My dad come to me down at Fort Jackson one time and said, "Why don't you come home and be a council member?" And I was like, "I don't know if I really want to do that." I said, "I've grown up and I've seen what you've went through." He said, "I know you've served your country, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd come home and take my spot and serve your community as well." And with the decision that I made, I really am blessed to have said that I've served my country and my community, and it's been a great honor to meet everyone here and to serve the people back home. And it's like I can take some of the experiences that I've learned from the military and bring them into the tribe itself. But like I said, I enjoy it. I've learned a lot from my dad. He's a great mentor. I remember Chris saying last night he's had some great mentors too, and I've still got one. So I tried to get my dad to come out here with me, but he's still enjoying retirement. He keeps saying he's fishing and watching the Cubs play, but I've still not seen him out there on the lake yet. So, and with that said, like I said, I hope to see you all come to Cherokee one day, and we'll take you. Me and Don will take you out to Snowbird, which we live 45 minutes from the main boundary. We'd enjoy to take you out fishing, or what we have to offer down in our area. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bill Taylor. This is my first term on Tribal Council. Like Adam, I grew up around it myself. I'm the son of Jonathan Ed Taylor, who served on Tribal Council for 16 years in the Wolftown community, and he was a principal chief for 8 years. I'm representing Wolftown community as well. I'd like to say that it is an honor for me as well to be here today and working with you all. I'd like to take this time to thank everyone for their hospitality and friendship that they've shown to us since we've been out here. And I really look forward to working with y'all today and on into the future on behalf of all our people, making us more stronger and united people. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Toonie Crow. I represent the Birdtown community. All these guys have said here this morning that it's an honor, and it's definitely an honor for me to sit here across the table, to come and be part of your family here. You guys have shown us, I couldn't repay everything that you guys have shown us out here. I've been out here several times working with the Cherokee Nation. Back when I was the chief of police there in Cherokee, I've had the opportunity to come out here and fly over a lot of the 14 counties or 13 counties, whatever it is out here. But I've really enjoyed myself in the time that we've shared out here all week long. The chairman and myself have been out here since Friday, so we're ready to go home today. But we've enjoyed our time, and we appreciate everything that you've done. And like everyone else has said, it's been an honor, and it'll definitely be an honor to repay the hospitality that you all have shown us once you come to Cherokee, hopefully next year or this year. So I welcome you all out there anytime. Our house is your house, just like you've opened up your house to us out here, and thank you for everything that you've done for us. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is David Wolf. I represent Yellow Hill community, and I'd just like to say good morning to Tribal Council and the Chief and the Deputy Chief, and those watching at home, watching live at home. I'd like to say thank you for your hospitality and everything you've done for us. I've eaten well this week, and the tour, and really enjoyed the tour. We got out in your communities and met people, and a lot of them had questions. What's it like in North Carolina? And I guess some of the people that do visit come back and try to describe it. And they're asking questions, is it this way? Is it this way? How beautiful is it? It's hard for me to describe. I take a lot of it for granted. But I would invite you all to come and visit with us and see for yourself what our tribe lived in and where we lived and the beauty and why we settled there. But I'd like to just invite you. And I thank you for the entertainment. Mr. Jackson, he put on a good show for us, and his message was strong, I believe, and appreciate the message he gave to us, and look forward for him to come out and deliver that message to our students. So we'll get with him and see if we can't get that schedule set up. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name's Alan B. Inslee. I represent the Yellow Hill along with David. I'm serving my 8th term on tribal council. I don't know how many joint council this makes me, but I enjoy each and every one of them, and it's an honor and a privilege to come out here and meet meetings every time, and the hospitality you extend to us while we're out here. I've got to know a family that lived in Stillwell, the Joe Four-Killer family. They treat us the same down there as you do up here. Whenever we come out here, wherever we meet, they always treat us the same. And I just want to thank them for treating my family that way when I'm down in Stillwell. So we yesterday, as we was taking a tour, I was talking about the housing. I'm a chairman of the housing and the roads committee, and we talk and go around and look at your fine gaming facilities, and we're all proud of them. But what makes you the proudest is, I guess, the revenue that we can go back and take care of some of the common folks, help with the roads, the new houses, and things like that, and the health care. That's what makes makes me the proudest to be a council member. You can help the people who really need the help, So, and through housing, you build somebody a home, you change their lives, So, it's things like that that really make me feel good as a council member. So, I just want to thank everybody for the hospitality, and you just need to be proud of Gail and Robbie. They've herded us around like a bunch of cattle all week. So, but Gail does a good job. Gail, thank you and Robbie for all the hospitality you've extended to us. So, thank you.
Thank you, Council. At this time, I'd like to also recognize 3 ladies that made the trip out here. I'll let them go up to the mic and introduce themselves. It's a royalty from Cherokee, so if you ladies will make your way to the front there and introduce yourself and tell us your family also who came with you and made this long drive, because I know I got to make that long drive back home in a minute, and I'm dreading it, but I will do it to get back home, because I'm, like Mr. Crow said, we've been out here since Friday, and we're ready to go back to Cherokee. Enjoyed being here. Enjoyed the hospitality. Thank you, and I'll let these young ladies introduce themselves. Some fine ladies here. Right here.
Come on around. Here. Here. Come on out front.
There you go.
Siya Stamper Dagodon Aniwaya Ziwi Zishkohige Oi Ray Queen Agizi Ben Stamper Agidoda. Hello, my name is Emma Stamper. I am a member of the Wolf Clan. I live in the Birdtown community. My mom is Ray Queen. My dad is Ben Stamper. And I am 2009-2010 Little Miss Cherokee. And it is an honor to be here. Ski, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Casey Lossy. I'm the 2009-2010 Junior Miss Cherokee. It's a real honor to be out here. I appreciate you having us out here and everything. My first trip to Oklahoma, actually. And I'm accompanied on this trip by my mother, Julia Lossy, my sister, Kelly Shailene Lossy, and my niece, Kiara Sneed. I'd just like to thank you for having us out here this week. Thank you.
Shio Nagada Hayo Dudu. Aya Keely Crisp Dog with the Agiti no lay Agido da Nikki no lay Anthony Crisp. Aya Ani Kawi Ilawo DKE Ani Kadua. Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Keely Crisp. My parents are Nikki and Anthony Crisp. My mother is the one who brought me out here. I am Deer Clan, and I am from Yellow Hill Community, and I am of the people. But yet I also would like to thank you guys for allowing me and the other misses to be able to enjoy all of this and to be able to learn about your culture and how you guys live out here, and also see the difference and how much we connect to each other. And it is an honor to be able to be here with my family and also our council, our other misses, and it's really the best thing I've ever actually really been to, and it's amazing, and I really appreciate it. Shkane.
Thank you, ladies. Also, I'd like to say on this trip we have with us Denise Bowman from our TOP staff, and also Miss Myrtle Driver, interpreter there, and the Indian clerk at council there. So thank you, Myrtle. Thank you, Denise, for coming out. Turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Al. Very briefly, there's some other people I'd like to recognize, but first, Chuck Hoskin Jr. just walked in, and this is his first term on the council, and we're very proud to serve with him. He is an attorney and does an excellent job for the council. And you want to introduce yourself and say a few words? Very few.
Just briefly. Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm just very proud to be a part of this. I don't think I could say it any better than anyone else has already done so. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hoskin. Right quickly, Jack, don't you have a couple of people that you wanted to recognize?
They're actually going to report.
Okay.
Good at that time.
All right. Of course, we want to recognize Gail Miller and Robbie Tate. All of you know them, and particularly Chairman Al. I guess they really abused you while you were here. And and Todd Hembry, our attorney. I think I saw Todd. Todd, are you here? Can you stand, Todd? Oh, okay. And Gina Blackfox, I see, walked in. You remember Gina? She was a former legislative aide for the Tribal Council. Gina, you want to stand? I'm glad you could be here, Gina. And, of course, we have our chief here. And Chief, you want to recognize your Secretary of State and others that may be here?
Secretary of State here? Yeah. Stand. Melanie Knight, Secretary of State. Charlie Soap, Director of Community Services. Melanie, we have Dr. Neil Morton, Special Advisor for Education. Jamie Cummings-Bird, Director of Gaming Compliance, our Deputy Principal Chief, Joe Grayson. And Pat Bragstead has come back from us from Bureau of Indian Affairs, Director of Leader of Government Services. Mike Miller, the Communications Director. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think all of you may have met or know Mrs. Ballinger, Robin Ballinger from Flint Co. She is here today. She looked forward to meeting all of you and attending this session of the Joint Council. And I'd like to also introduce Felicia and Gina Olaya. They are daughters of Wilma Mankiller. Can you see them okay? I'm glad you were able to be here. And our royalty, Miss Danielle Culp, I think she's here in the audience. Danielle, did you want to say a few words?
Sionigan Alspian Dawado Aya Talsko Yawade Tiada Galamar Dujanela Digadel Quasti Northeastern State University. Hello everyone, my name is Danielle Culp. I'm a 20-year-old sophomore at Northeastern State University. I'm originally from Claremore, which is about 20 miles from here. I would like to welcome you all to the Joint Council meeting. It's an honor to be in front of both councils, and not only to welcome you to our Hard Rock Casino, but also to my home district of Rogers County. So it's an honor to be here, and thank you guys for coming out, and I hope that you enjoyed your stay. Shki and Wado.
Thank you, Danielle. Is there anyone in the audience that I would like to introduce themselves? Don't be shy. Okay, next order of business here, if I can find my agenda. Chairman Al, did you want to amend after roll call? All right. Ms. Cowan-Watts, would you do the honor of calling the roll for the Council of the Cherokee Nation?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will call your names for the Cherokee Nation Council. Please signify whether you're present or not. Buell Anglin.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Julia Coates. Bradley Cobb.
Oh, honey.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk. Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Don Garvin. Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Tina Glory Jordan.
Here.
Chris Soap.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton.
Oh.
Kara Cowan-Watts. Ahani.
We do have a quorum, don't we? Thank you, Ms. Cowan-Watts. For the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, Ms. Driver, Myrtle Driver.
Itu salak nola yunaika tatati yan tini lawek nola tuni ko wiyuhi. Ugo wiyuhi de law dashki. Principal Chief Michelle Hicks. Kanigada. Talena ugo wiyuhi lawi tula. Vice Chief Lara Bly. Kanigada. Kahun ski timi ugu tishwahi. Chairman Jim Al,
here.
Representing the Birdtown community.
Here.
Thali nay có hưởng ski. Qua từ Lee A. Lavoting. Vice Chairman P. Ainsley.
Here.
Yellow Hill. David Wahia. A. Lavoting. David Wood. Yellow Hill Community. Mayaki. Uyaluka. Wahyohi. Mike Parker. Woodtown Community. Kanigata. Kawaya, Koga, Jeet Squahin, Toonie Crow, Birdtown Community. Malone Uyaska, Kola Nuyi, Herishel, Big Coat Community. Watesha to Tanala, Magai, Kola Nuyi, Teresa Bradley McCoy, Big Coat. Can we walk at it? Tommy Akshavanuki and the voting. Thomas Sanu, Panktown Community. Kanigata. Taya, Haney Lee and the voting. Terry Henry, Panktown Community. William Taylor, Wayong Bill Taylor, Wolftown Community.
Honey.
Arthur Wing, what's that thing? 2TU, Zanu Shiyi, Adam Wachacha, Robbinsville, Cherokee County.
Honey.
Kokstayi, Uwatake, 2TU, Zanu Shiyi, Diamond Brown, Robbinsville, Cherokee County.
Honey.
Denise Shu, Udall Nursing, Denise Walking Stick. Hurley, the Yay Lake. Murder driver, Hockney. Skipper.
Thank you, Myrtle. At this time, I'd like to amend the agenda here just for a few moments. We want to do a couple of presentations here to the Wilma Mankiller family. On behalf of the Tribal Council of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, we'd like to extend our prayers and consolations to the family of Wilma Mankiller and the Cherokee Nation membership. Our hearts are saddened by the loss of Principal Chief Mankiller, but we are deeply appreciative of her dedication to the advancement of the Cherokee people. At home in Cherokee, we have a flag folding ceremony and presentation of the tribal flag. It is presented to the family members whose loved ones have served in tribal government as memoriam to their memory and gratitude for their service to our people. The flag is folded to represent the 7 clans of the Cherokee people in the spirit of the 7 clans of the Cherokee people in our tribal council. We present this tribal flag in the honorable memory of Principal Chief Wilma Mankiller. So at this time, I'd ask Diamond and Adam to come up and...
It's the Cherokee Nation Color Guard.
Oh, Cherokee Nation Color Guard, I'm sorry. And they may be out, they're outside there. Okay.
Would the family come up, please? Please stand.
Các phố cái y hóa đi, ảnh phải chờ đến cả cái gì. Ôi giờ nó các phố cái y, đi nhớ mình, anh ấy sẽ là cái được sao đó, được cơ rồi cái ảnh. The flag has been folded 7 times to represent the 7 clans of the Cherokee that Principal Chief Wilma Mankiller represented. As each clan is called out, the flag will be unfolded. Ani Kawi, Ani Wahya. Ani Tishwa. Ani Gotagawi. Ani Cherokee. Ani Walking. Ani Shahoni. Nó rất là thơ gì gần là cặp bó kia anh đi nhau với anh đi không anh đi qua nhau anh đi chinh phục anh đi vào cái cây với Ani Cherokee, Ani Walking, Ani Shahoni. The urn was made by Joel Queen. It's a gift from Tribal Council to Chief Wilma's family along with soil from Kidua. The soil from Kidua has been blessed and is meant to comfort the family. Katakwat Koshutanu, Joel Queen, the Washunu. Katano Katlu, Skina Katakwat Koshunu. Ikiti, Katuhu, the Yutalane, Atato Listanus, Nola Ushoyaskina, Kata.
Thank you, Merle. Also, there was a gavel sent by former Chairman Dan McCoy, and he says this handmade gavel by former Chairman Dan McCoy. He served with Wilma for many years ago. Back in the days, our tribe struggled to gain financial income to further our tribe's independence. Leaders fought to gain the recognition and respect for our nations that we deserved on local, state, and national levels. Although the gavel is simple, it represents years of hard work and heartfelt efforts on behalf of our Cherokee people. Dan would like Chairman Al to present this gavel to Charlie and know that Wilma's life made a difference to Cherokee people. Her dedication to our people will always be remembered, and we are thankful that she was part of our lives. So this time I'll present the gavel that Mr. McCoy made.
The pre-K from Gadua Language Academy has made a CD for the family. It is a disc of Cherokee hymns sung especially for Charlie, Gina, and Felicia. There are also cards written in the syllabary and decorated by the pre-K children for the family. The children took a lot of time making the cards and writing in our Cherokee syllabary for the family. The loud one singing is Ginny, Dan and Rosie's little girl.
I want to say thank you on behalf of the family. Ojale hele consanale idi jalek to daslis nalesko stai tigi losa igali gona jalekawete ale Oklahoma idi jalek haskana ostegal stella hasiko ejik igal sneak di da sko tu losa kan in the car with your neck on ella see I got sko ski usti gi losa ostoni da dane ha si danela nale skatu nale anisa aniyawia ani ujatina ne ha na ni uksasi teto se ski steady stella he do ha ski just osta gotta ke ha skene di jelek akantis idi dawa di ski just steady stella ha nisa aniyawia ski just na jelek wete the law Daji Losa, he jale Elisa, the card, he could leak on now, wasn't at the time, and he said, away. On behalf of the family, I want to say thank you for honoring us in this way, and that the Cherokee nations on both sides, east and west, play a big part in helping other tribes, paving the way for the betterment of their communities. So, it is with great honor that we receive these gifts from you all. And I know Wilma played a big part with her leadership for both sides, the Eastern Bands and the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. I enjoyed the early years of watching both nations grow in a big way that has made major contributions not only to Oklahoma but across the nation. And with great admiration for Wilma and to all of you, we say thank you for what you've done. Well done.
Chairman Al and Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, thank you so much. That was a beautiful ceremony and presentation, and I know the family appreciates it as we do very much. Next order of business are reports. Yes, Mr. Crittenden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to, at this time, amend the agenda, if possible, to include in item number 7, a resolution recognizing former Principal Chief Pearl Mankiller as the National Treasurer of the Cherokee Nation. And I put that in form of motion.
Second. Discussion.
Would you make a friendly amendment to make it item number 2.5?
2.5?
So between 2 and 3?
That can be done, yes.
Thank you. Accept that. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of amending the agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The first report is a Freedmen update by Principal Chief Chad Smith of the Cherokee Nation. Chief Smith, thank you so much for being here today. We know you have a busy schedule, but this is a very important issue, and we appreciate the update.
Thank you very much, President and Chairman. I can't think of a place I'd rather be in the world than here today among family, honoring one of our great leaders. The issue I'd like to brief you on is twofold today. One is the Freedmen issue. The Freedmen issue, as you recall, is a legal issue whether descendants of former slaves and freed Negroes associated with the Cherokee Nation before 1866 are entitled to citizenship of the Cherokee Nation. That issue is in front of two federal courts and one tribal court. Congress, through Representative Diane Watson, preemptively moved to terminate the Cherokee Nation in two bills, impound all of our business revenue, prohibit us from receiving federal funding. There's good news and there's bad news. Good news is that Diane Watson is retiring. And what it does is create an opportunity. History always repeats itself, and there's great lessons to know from the thing that split us apart, the Trail of Tears. The Indian Removal Act, which was a predicate for the removal, was passed by a vote of 102 to 97, only after Andrew Jackson lobbied three of his party to switch their vote. The Treaty of New Echota was passed by one vote in the U.S. Senate, only after a senator in Tennessee reneged on his commitment to John Ross to vote against that removal treaty, fraudulent on its face. And we can see from those two episodes that we have to have people in Congress who understands us and understands our issues. So half the issue has been laid to rest with Diane Watson, but the issue still resides in Congress, and we have the opportunity with a young man, Felton Newell, 38-year-old African-American lawyer, who's entered into that race and has visited with our tribes in Indian country and will support sovereignty of tribes to determine the most sacred right as of the identity, who gets to be a citizen. So I certainly encourage the Eastern Band. We have sent proposals to support Felton Newell. And if you can do that at this time, it is critical, because that one vote in Congress can make the world of difference, as history shows. And with your consent, as we've passed, as the Eastern Band has expressed such great gratitude for Wilma, she has left a tremendous legacy. And her last project that has gone unfinished is probably the one that captured best the spirit of Gadugi. And with your permission, I would like to show the trailer of the project that she has left unfinished, feature-length movie about the Cherokee spirit and perseverance.
Ông mới hẹn tổ sự chỉ đợt đó nữa, ông mới hẹn ý tổ. Thôi let's go over vô thôi mà ghé số ứng tổ.
There was a revolution today out in Bell, Oklahoma, a close community of about 400 people.
There's no water. There's no inside toilet or anything like that. It's outside.
School had it was a well, and that's where they got their water.
There was some much mistrust
from the community, from the people, towards the tribe, the BIA, or any government agency.
There was a sense of this is the way things are. This is our reality. People just kind of gave up and coped.
From CBS News, this is Morning with Charles Kuralt and Diane Sawyer.
100 Cherokee Indian families are fighting for a better life in northeastern Oklahoma.
I feel that not just Cherokee people, but poor people in general have a much greater capacity for leadership and for solving their own problems than they're ever given credit for. I just felt that, given a chance, the people in Bell could control their own future.
It might not look like it for people coming through our communities. They may see a world of problems or poor housing and all this stuff, but behind the scenes, we help each other. We don't go out and flaunt it. We don't go out and publicize it, but it's there. That's our way of life.
I was raised by my grandparents, and it was always, if you see somebody in need of help, go help them.
We get our water at the schoolhouse. I mean, we used to.
Is probably the greatest thing I ever seen in my life. What it has done for this community.
Before that, I think that a lot of people thought that life just happened to them. And after the project, they began to say, this is my family and this is my community and I'm responsible for it.
Do the deed step, we're going to do it through self-help. We're going to work through self-help. That's what we live by.
A number of tribes is committed to the completion of this project. We have sent a proposal to the Eastern Band. We respectfully ask that you consider it. The message is a very clear and simple one. The Cherokee way of leadership is not pandering or handing out checks or creating a welfare institute. It's helping our people to understand that our future is our decision, our communities are our decision, our lives are our decision. Thank you very much, Speaker, Mr. Chairman.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to Make a move to add 2 resolutions to the agenda, item number 7 and 8.
What are they?
One is a resolution to support the Brothers in the Wind Remembrance Removal Tour, and the other is a resolution in continuing support of the Sequoia Birthplace Museum in Lenore, Tennessee. That'll be my move at this time.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on amending the agenda to include these 2 items? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Inslee. Our next report is the Katua Mound update. Mr. Townsend. Nice to see you again, Mr. Townsend.
Nice to see you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Russ Townsend. I have the honor and privilege to serve as the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer for the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. It's always wonderful to come back to Oklahoma and see everybody, but I've always been given a real home-like welcome in Cherokee, and I owe everybody here a great debt of gratitude. I wanted to update you all on the Katua Mound situation. As you all may have read or heard through the grapevine, Duke Power has proposed to build a substation or tie station within the viewshed of Gadua. It is just to the south of Gadua Mound across Highway 74. It has created a horrible, ugly scar on the hillside, and it caused a great deal of concern in our community when we really started to see the trees coming down around Thanksgiving time. We met with Duke, and I guess in December, and found that this was not a federal undertaking, which was a bit of a surprise to our office. We felt that we should have been consulted on this issue, but the federal statutes did not support that. It was not paid for by federal money. It was paid by ratepayer money. The project did not take place on federal land and did not require any federal permits, which was a huge surprise to us. Reviewing state law 62101, it appears that Duke may have violated some laws and should have consulted us under those state laws. And they've always claimed, Duke has always claimed to be a good neighbor to the Eastern Band, and so we felt that they should have consulted. So when we sat down on a table and heard about their plans to build a 5-acre substation after clearing 37 acres of hillside and create a number of high-tension power line towers within the viewshed of Gadua, we were pretty upset. We met with tribal government, a lot of tribal offices. We consulted with our counterparts here in the Cherokee Nation, Dr. Richard Allen, and I think because of all the support, the outcry, the emergency resolution passed by the nation, as well as the actions taken by the Eastern Band government, Duke has slowed the project down considerably, and they brought their president out to meet with Chief Hicks and Tribal Council Brett Carter in mid-February on the 17th. And from that meeting, it basically opened up the discussion for alternate sites, alternate locations for this substation. And that's currently where this project is right now. We have proposed 2 alternate site locations to Duke over the past month and have reviewed those sites. Duke has rejected one of them as being too small, but is seriously considering other alternate site, both of which are out of the viewshed of Gadua. and they are concerned about some water course issues on that property, that it may work out. In choosing the property at Hyatt Creek, they had initially looked at 5 other sites. One of those sites they are looking at again, so this is a third alternate site that the tribe would purchase and exchange land if they would accept this build site. So there are 3 sites, one of which is pretty much off the table, but the other 2 are being seriously considered. And then there is also an alternate location at the Swain County Industrial Park offered by Swain County. So right now, Duke Power is committed to looking and fully examining these alternate sites. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians is fully committed to finding alternate sites, because we really feel that the construction of this substation would be an adverse effect to the integrity, the National Register integrity of this very, very important site, Gadua. You know, it is our mother town after all, and we certainly respect and try to protect those places. As we move forward, we will keep you all posted with what Duke might decide to do with the tribe's urgings. I will entertain any questions, but I'd like to close by saying there are a lot of these sites that are important to us, whether it's Cowie Mound or New Echota. There are many sites that have the potential to be impacted, and when it's a private property issue like this one is, it becomes very difficult for the tribe to succeed in any kind of action that doesn't involve political pressure, that just strictly involves legal pressure. So I would seriously like to urge both tribal councils to perhaps consider creating a list of priorities of historic sites and cultural sites that they would like protected, and to start talking about how best to protect those sites, whether it's viewshed issues or constructions within archaeological or burial horizons. We want to make sure these sites get protected. And at the end of the day, the Eastern Band purchased Gadua and purchased Cowie in order to protect those sites from development. And I think purchasing is probably our best way to protect these places. So I would like to urge y'all to do that. Are there any questions I could answer for y'all's behalf?
Any questions or comments for Mr. Townsend? Yes.
Madam Speaker, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for allowing me to speak on this issue. When this issue came before our tribal council, one of the things that I recognized was that, as Russ is speaking there about the view sheds, we have federal laws and tribal laws that are in place to protect our sacred sites, and that's just for the land itself, the land proper. And I had hoped to be able to, and I would ask the Joint Council to consider a resolution at some point in the near future to be able to recognize the view sheds of sacred sites. I think that this would also be a great benefit to Indian country in general, and at some point I'd like to be able to bring that forward, but unfortunately I was not ready for this meeting. But anyway, I just wanted to speak on behalf of, in support of that in that way, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Cherry. Any other comments? It's not. And Mr. Baker, I recognize you wanted to amend.
Yes, ma'am. On personal privilege, if everybody would agree, at this time I would truly like to move up items 2 and 2A to before reports, as Hastings family is here and some of them need to get gone. And I guess Gina and Felicia and Charlie were leaving just a few minutes ago, and I think they caught them. But if we could move those presentations up to now, I'd put that in form of motion.
Second.
Thank you all for your time.
Mr. Baker, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It is truly an honor and a privilege to stand before this body and make this presentation. This is a presentation that could have been made any time. Hastings was such a great man that we probably should have done it long before today. But his wife is here, his 3 boys are here, his other 2 wives are here. That's a joke. When he married Loretta, he married the family folks, and the folks, when their parents died, he stepped in, and the first date Loretta went on, it was with all of her sisters, and they just loved Hastings because he would take them to town, and he truly was like he married the family. And his brother-in-law, who is much more like a brother, is here today. And so anyway, I'm going to go on with this resolution. Resolution recognizing Hastings Shade as a recipient of the Friends of Sequoia Award. And I haven't done the research, but I'm guessing he's probably the first recipient of the Sequoia Award that was actually related to Sequoia directly. Whereas the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, since time immemorial, have exercised the sovereign rights of self-governance in behalf of the Cherokee people. And whereas the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians are federally recognized Indian nations with a historic and continual government-to-government relationship with the United States of America. And whereas the Joint Council unites the legislative branches of government of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, representing approximately 294,000 Cherokee people throughout the United States of America. And whereas Resolution Number 12, dated October 3rd, 1988, established the Friends of Sequoia Award. And whereas the Joint Council wishes to pay tribute to individuals who have worked diligently without compensation to ensure the perpetuation of culture, history, and language. And whereas the former Deputy Chief and Cherokee National Treasurer of the Cherokee Nation, Hastings Shade, has been relentlessly dedicated to the furtherance and self-determination, self-governance, and teaching Cherokee life of the Cherokee people and all of Indian country. And whereas the Joint Council of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians wishes to honor Hastings Shade by choosing him as a recipient of the 2010 Friends of Sequoia Award. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Joint Council of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians does hereby express appreciation and tribute to Hastings Shade and nominate him as a recipient of the 2010 Friends of Sequoia Award. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be the policy of the Joint Council of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians until it is withdrawn or modified by further subsequent resolution. Madam Chairman, I'd put this in the form of a motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you so much, and it was unanimous. If I could have the family step up, please. Here's a plaque that we knew that there was going to be no doubt that it would get unanimous vote. And this is the Francis Whitehead recognition of APJ for his relentless dedication to furtherance of self-determination, self-government, and keeping Cherokee life of the Cherokee people and all of Indian country. Presented this 16th day, 2010, by the Council of Cherokee.
Sion negado do you gali elig negad jided lo sig kalanga deal DJ a level daily deal ET committee council members. I want to thank you all, and I'm very appreciative of what you recognize Hastings as been real blessed with. We didn't know we had a national treasure in our family, and he always told us no. What he meant was, I don't know who's going to finish the projects or the teachings that he taught, whether it was gig making, bow making, crawdad gigs, or just doing presentations in marble. He was it. He did everything, and he's taught the boys everything. And he said, his way of saying someone's got to carry it on, the legacy that he left. So you got to ereg God, G.J. Alain. The guy on Gus Edgedown Teska, the Gus. And he was really appreciative of any person that was willing to work with him. And he was just a community person, very loving. You can tell by the family that he left behind. This isn't all, but every time we were somewhere, he was teaching history, culture, traditions, religion, whatever the person wanted to talk about. And I really appreciate, my boys and I really appreciate what y'all have done. I just want to say, well, don't ski.
I got to say two more things. One, she came to our council meeting and we honored her there, and she wanted to leave early because she had Hastings class to teach. And so I know part of where it's carrying on, and I've talked to the boys, and they, which one of you made 6 gigs already? Larry? Okay. But one more personal privilege, if I could. Hastings' brother / in-law, Jerry Henson, would like to say a word before we stop this one.
To Charlie and Felicia and just like to say from our family, to me it was a hard blow of losing Hastings and Wilma. They were 2 people that I truly believe that were sent from above every good gift is from above. In the 80s, Wilma Manguler came to Hobart. I met her there, and our relationship began to grow. I was an early preacher at that time. I'd worked with young people. Wilma was the speaker to the graduating class at Hobart High School. And as I sat there beside her, I knew that that lady was someone special. Someone that could see each one of us. At that time, I didn't know what she seen in me. But as we sat there on the platform, she asked me, she said, "Are you working with the young people in the church?" I said, "Yes." At that time, Jack Brown Center came to Tahlequah in this region for young adolescents that were having trouble with alcohol and drugs, which I had overcome. And she said at that time, she said, "Monday morning, you be at Jack Brown. You go to work there." And I began there of a long relationship with Charlie and Wilma, and working there in Lost City community. But I want to tell the young ladies here, as I began to read the Bible and the Old Testament, I read the book of Esther. Esther there was a woman that was fighting for her people. They were in captivity. Not many things was happening for them. And Esther said, and this is what caught me as I read there, and this is what began to resurge again as I seen Wilma. Esther said, "If I perish, I perish." She went to speak to the king, and she fought for her people. And those people began to emerge into a strong people. And that is what Wilma and Hastings began to fight. Wilma took on the federal government. Hastings began to see the vision of our people losing language, culture, and our heritage. And those two, they left us. And we must step up. And we must carry on the fight that they began. And they will fight for us from above. They are in the presence of our Creator. I know I don't want to don't know. So I don't let you when as long as God says no. Oh, it's the done one done, no. Though you will do that in no, he's going to that in no, you know, go here again. They are there. Never will they be sick again. They are well. They are standing in front of our Creator and singing, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. from everlasting to everlasting. We thank you, and we love Charlie and the girls with all our heart. And we will continue to help our people. Well done.
If Joe Crittenden would come forward, he's got the it'll be hard to follow Jerry, but he's got the resolution on Wilma.
Please be seated.
Madam Speaker, Bill John talked about the honor and privilege of the presentation he just made.
Mr. Crittenden, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I apologize for the interruption. Bill John talked about the privilege and honor it was for him to read the resolution on Hastings and that we just had. And I have the honor of reading the resolution recognizing former Principal Chief Wilma Mankiller. You know, in our lifetimes, there's not that many folks that we can look to as true visionaries, leaders. They come along few and far between. And in my mind, Wilma was one of those people. And thank God that we had the privilege to have her as our leader. She set the bar high. I've watched the tribe for a good 50 years, and I don't know that anybody could sit with kings or presidents and then sit at Peavine on the porch with folks like me or whatever, and could relate and understand people and their needs and their problems. And as women tend to be much better organizers than men, this resolution actually was, I believe, Madam Speaker, sort of your idea. And then Jody Fishenhawk, my counterpart, who's not with us today, took up the issue, and Gail Miller had some input. And as usual, the men, in this case myself, kind of came up dragging, the back end. So anyhow, I'll hush. I know these people need to leave, but it's truly an honor for me to read this. This resolution recognizing former Principal Chief Wilma Pearl Mankiller as a national treasure of the Cherokee Nation. Whereas the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians since time immemorial have exercised the sovereign rights of self-government in behalf of the Cherokee people, and whereas the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians are federally recognized Indian nations with a historic and continual government-to-government relationship with the United States of America, And whereas the Joint Council unites the legislative branches of government of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, representing approximately 294,000 Cherokee people throughout the United States of America. And whereas Wilma P. Mankiller, a native of Mankiller Flats, Adair County, Oklahoma, passed from this life on April 6, 2010. Whereas Wilma P. Mankiller served as principal chief of the Cherokee Nation from 1985 through 1995. Whereas Wilma P. Mankiller was the first female elected to lead a major Native American tribe. Whereas Wilma P. Mankiller served her people with great distinction and worked tirelessly to improve the lives of Cherokee citizens. Whereas under Wilma P. Mankiller's decisive leadership, the Cherokee Nation reclaimed important rights and self-govern, reestablished its criminal and civil jurisdiction, and made key improvements in health and community development. Whereas Wilma P. Mankiller was an internationally known advocate for the rights of all Native peoples and was a champion for the rights of women around the world. Whereas during her 10-year tenure as principal chief, Wilma P. Mankiller met with Presidents Reagan, Bush, and Clinton to present critical tribal issues and help facilitate the establishment of an Office of Indian Justice within the United States Department of Justice. Whereas Wilma P. Mankiller received numerous awards and honors, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President William J. Clinton. Whereas Wilma P. Mankiller was instrumental in strengthening the Cherokee Nation and was generally responsible for making the Cherokee Nation government an example of excellence for all Native American tribes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Joint Council of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians do hereby recognize former Principal Chief Wilma Pearl Mankiller as a National Treasure of the Cherokee Nation for her cultural contribution, leadership, and statesmanship to the Cherokee people. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be the policy of the Joint Council of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians until it is withdrawn or modified by subsequent resolution. And Madam Speaker, I'd put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second it. You make a motion?
Yes, I have a motion and a second also, Madam Speaker.
Any discussion?
And, Madam Speaker,
Yes, sir.
Jody Fishenhawk had asked that Mr. Baker make some comments on her behalf since she couldn't be here, if that's possible.
Okay,
And,
we're in discussion. Mr. Baker?
Yes, ma'am. On the way to this meeting this morning, Jody called and asked if I would make a few comments on her behalf. She is devastated that she could not be here to present this piece of legislation to this body for Wilma. That was her, not only was Jody her council person and Wilma Jody's chief, but they were friends, and I think Wilma came along at a time in Jody's life that Wilma meant all. I think she saw her example of this strong Indian woman that chose her battles, but when she chose her battle, she bit on like a bulldog. And I think Jody has, now she's not been arrested for biting on like a bulldog, but she does take it serious. And Jody has a heart for the Cherokee people that Wilma had, where she truly cares about her people, and she gets out and she studies and she works to help the poorest of the poor day in and day out. And I'm so proud of Jody. But these things are all things that she learned from Wilma. And Jody goes on to be a mentor for her people, just as Wilma was for her. And but these are some of the things that she wanted to point out, and she wanted to be part of this, and illness just would not allow it. So maybe I've done a little bit of my part for giving Jody's feelings on Wilma and how much she admired her and how much she knows that she meant to the tribe and she meant to our people and all Indian peoples. So God bless you all.
Yes, Terry?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the work that I did previously to becoming tribal council member, I was an advocate for Native women addressing violence against women, and I still am an advocate for that particular issue. I know that when we heard of Ms. Mankiller's passing, we were all stunned and very saddened at the loss. And I know that the Cherokee Nation has experienced a great loss, and we at Cherokee Eastern Band have experienced the same loss. She was a great leader. She is recognized by Native women's advocates who are, some of us were her dear friends, like Cecilia Fire Thunder. And there are some non-Native advocates out there who recognize the true visionary and the just tremendous leader that she was on all of the issues that she had before her. And so with that, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to add my voice on behalf of the advocates of battered women throughout the United States, both Native and non-Native, in supporting, being able to be honored to support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Cherry, for those very nice comments. Any other comments before we take a vote? All in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay.
Madam Speaker,
Yes.
if I'm over here.
Oh.
I'm over here.
Okay.
If I may interject on business item number 1, rules and procedures governing joint council of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, ask that we table that item due to time constraints, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
The motion was to table item 1 and the business item, even though we aren't there yet. I believe that's because some of you need to leave. That's something I believe we can do later.
Point of order.
Yes,
please.
sir.
I don't think Mr. Crittenden is finished. I think he was going to introduce the family and give them an opportunity to...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Mr. Soap, thank you so much for being here today.
It's an honor to be here, and I asked one of the girls to speak on this issue because I said probably one of you would not be as weepy as I would. So, but it really touches my heart that you both Eastern Band and Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma would honor Wilma, and we do accept this with honor. And I know her legacy and the leadership that she displayed, demonstrated, we all learn, and we will try our hardest to, I don't know if we can keep up with it, but we're going to give our best to continue that legacy in our work. And the Shade family, thank you very much for your kind words, and we do have a lot of work ahead of us, and I look forward to working with Cherokee Nation, with Chad's administration, the council, and also Eastern Band, anything we can do from this part to continue our work for our tribes on both sides. We look forward to working with all of you. Wadon. Thanks again for the resolution in honor of Wilma. Wadon.
Wadon. Dr. Cobb, we were out of order there. Do you want to restate your motion?
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Speaker, I had requested on business item number 1, rules and procedures governing the joint council of Cherokee Nation and Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, that due to time constraints that we table that item. And I believe I had a second from Councilor Anglin.
Mr. Anglin, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This time I'll turn it over to Ms. Kara Watts, who's going to give us the status of tribal recognition issues.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Chairman, Before we go to the PowerPoint presentation, the brief PowerPoint presentation that's also been handed out, and for the audience members, that PowerPoint presentation was available at the front desk, and I'm sure there's still copies if you didn't receive one. And it's titled the Sovereignty Theft Update. Here, while we're waiting on the video to come up, I'll go ahead and do this part. This is the taskforce.cherokee.org website, which deals directly with identity theft through the fake or fraudulent Cherokee tribe groups that claim to be tribal nations across the United States and even in foreign countries. I think we've identified more than 250 of these fake tribes, or groups, excuse me, you shouldn't even call them tribes, that lends them some sort of credibility. So if you'll go on to this website, there's a couple of things it does. It has the resolutions that we've passed at prior councils, the fraudulent group list, if you're curious if they've all been identified, as well as other papers that have been written on it in the direct impact to sovereignty. And you can also log into the website and become one of our active participants to help us fight these issues at the grassroots level. Yes, so now we're ready for the video. We want to thank Chief Smith and his administration for funding and producing this video to help educate people across the United States on the issue. This is available on that website.
In Florida, a group claiming to be a Cherokee nation participates in a dance. In Alabama, people who call themselves a Cherokee tribe march in a parade. In Texas, a group who have declared themselves a Cherokee nation performs a ceremony. What these three groups have in common is that none are federally recognized. They are fraudulent Cherokee tribes, and they are just a few among many. In the last 30 years, many groups have emerged claiming to be an authentic Cherokee nation, band, or tribe. Although some of their members may have Cherokee ancestors, these groups are associations and are not legitimate tribal governments. Almost all of these groups misrepresent Cherokee culture. Some sell spiritual advice, non-Indian art, and non-Cherokee crafts. A few have tried to open casinos. Several groups have interfered with federal and state laws. Their claims of authenticity has led to confusion among the general public. Organizations and schools have been deceived. Government officials do not know if these groups represent real Cherokees. The number of these fake Cherokee tribes has been growing and now has reached over 200. Today, there are only 3 authentic federally recognized Cherokee tribes. The Cherokee Nation, the United Kituwa Band of Cherokee Indians in Oklahoma, and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. For 500 years, the Cherokee people have faced overwhelming adversity, and it has been their tribal governments that fought the battles to retain and secure Cherokee rights and privileges. For many people today, it is becoming unclear who represents and governs Cherokees.
Well, a tribe is a governmental entity that has an established, recognized government-to-government relationship with the federal government.
Our relationship with the federal government is long, it's continuous, it's historically documented.
There's only 3 Cherokee tribes in the United States, 2 in Oklahoma, 1 in North Carolina. That's it.
The other tribes that have petitioned over the many years for federal recognition just haven't been able to meet the criteria.
Some groups claim to be federally recognized, but they are not, and their evidence is misleading. A form letter from the President of the United States, a mention in the Federal Register, correspondence from a federal agency. A few fake tribes claim authenticity from being recognized by states, but as laid out in the U.S. Constitution, only Congress has the right to recognize tribal governments. States have no standard set of requirements. Some states simply grant recognition by a legislative resolution or a letter from the governor. Membership standards for these fake tribes are often minimal. Many require nothing more than the belief one is Cherokee. Fake tribes imitate authentic Indian tribes. Almost every group uses the title of principal chief or chief as their head. Several groups make up tribal roles that are not part of Cherokee culture. Members very often create Indian names for themselves. The majority of these names have no connection to Cherokee tradition. At times, the names are romanticized and stereotypical. Fraudulent tribes often state their intention is to learn and spread traditional Cherokee culture. Here, a chief makes a presentation. He is wearing a war bonnet. Cherokees never wore them. A teepee. Cherokees never lived in them. A man claiming to be a firekeeper in a costume of his own creation. A radical misinterpretation of a Booker dance. On their websites, these groups express their versions of Cherokee history and culture. Very few of them represent it accurately.
These frauds are harmful in the fact that they distort our history, they distort our culture, they misrepresent who we are by putting on these particular shows of trying to be Indian.
I'm proud to be a Cherokee, and I was raised Cherokee, and for them to misidentify themselves by mocking my ancestors is just wrong, and it's heartbreaking.
Many of these fraudulent groups use deceptive practices to take advantage of the rights and privileges reserved for real tribal governments. One group sold counterfeited automobile license plates. Another group, claiming sovereignty, deceived a local sheriff with a fake court order and took custody of a child. The case was exposed, and the child was returned to its parents. Several have tried to open illegal casinos. Another fraudulent tribe sold tribal memberships to illegal immigrants. They sold 10,000 membership cards for anywhere from $50 to $1,400. One fake tribe illegally channeled money from a government grant to schools for each student enrolled in their fake tribe. They charged $120 for memberships, and no proof of Indian ancestry was required.
We have people out there who are scamming other people for thousands and thousands of dollars.
But what really concerns me about groups that aren't legitimate is the damage they can cause, not only in outside parties and governments listening to them in terms of making federal policy, state policy, local policy, but also interfering in people's lives.
To me, they're stealing our history, our culture, and that rightly belongs to the Cherokee people.
I don't feel that it's right. I don't think that people should just go around just making up their own tribes, calling them whatever they want to call themselves. To be a Cherokee, you have to be a citizen, you have to be by blood. Anybody can start a club up, and it's only if you want to join it, you'll join it. But I was born into this. I can't change it.
You don't have to be a citizen to learn about our tribe. And we welcome you with open arms. But there's a difference between citizenship and heritage. And the citizenship issue is what we're talking about here today.
Today, the governments of the 3 Cherokee tribes are contributing to the endurance of the Cherokee people. In their jurisdictional boundaries of Oklahoma and North Carolina, the Cherokee language and culture still thrive. The largest of the 3, the Cherokee Nation, with over 280,000 citizens, operates 8 health centers, numerous housing and language programs, as well as career, community, and human services. The Cherokee Nation has helped to improve the quality of life for all people in Northeast Oklahoma. They employ more than 6,800 people and financially contribute to local fire and police departments, road development, and Oklahoma public schools. Heritage is different from citizenship. For those people with Cherokee ancestors who cannot become citizens, the Cherokee Nation encourages them to embrace their heritage by learning more about Cherokee history, language, and culture. For more information, call the Cherokee Nation or visit the website www.cherokee.org. By supporting authentic Cherokee culture and tribal governments, one can help all Cherokees. The Cherokee people have endured for hundreds of years, and they plan to endure for hundreds of years into the future.
Okay, so now that you understand, if you didn't realize the problem before, I hope you realize the problem now. So we have a call for action. And so we have a lot of new council members on both councils, and I'm going to try to briefly go through our calls for action. And so the original actions requested, we'll just skip over to the second slide, was a federal ban so that we wouldn't have to fight state by state, a federal ban of state recognition of any groups claiming to be Cherokee. Also, these fraudulent groups continue to bog down the federal recognition process. Eliminate federal tribal set-asides to non-federally recognized groups. Currently, millions of dollars and an unknown amount goes to non-federally recognized groups claiming to be tribes. IRS 501c3 regulations, which might prevent these pseudo-tribes from creating these nonprofits, which is a mechanism that they use. And then we need a General Accountability Office or the Office of Management and Budget at the federal level to actually report and account for those lost federal funds to Indian country, and in particular to these fake groups of Cherokees. So then changes to NCI's membership policy, where we do not allow these groups claiming to be Cherokee. Currently, the National Congress of American Indians recognizes 2 fake Cherokee groups as members, and we need to work together to change that. Ensure that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife guidelines for feathers are followed, and that these groups do not obtain our precious eagle feathers and hawks and other feathers that are protected. We need to lobby together for federal laws which make impersonation of tribes and tribal citizenship a felony. Essentially, it should be identity theft in order to protect not just ourselves and the integrity of our tribal government, but the general population from these folks who they hire. Public relations campaign where we educate and media and public. We welcome you to use the video. I think this video does an excellent job. We actually have a packet around it. You can download these things, anyone in the audience or those watching, at taskforce.cherokee.org, or we can provide that to you, or you can go to YouTube and search for the video. We need to actively prosecute Cherokee frauds. We need to find a mechanism through the U.S. courts to do so. Then exposure of Cherokee frauds in academia. I appreciate Chief Smith's support, where he wrote an amicus brief for the University of Colorado in Denver with Professor Ward Churchill, who's for years claimed to be Cherokee, and that case was successful, where we identified for the public that he was falsely claiming to be Cherokee, and others. We need to amend the Federal Indian Arts and Crafts Act to exclude state-recognized tribes. They use the Indian Arts and Crafts Act as a mechanism to legitimize themselves by creating themselves as Indian artists. So on the last, this is additional work needed beyond those original requests that I brought forward. And so I think that we need to, prior to our next joint council meeting, I would ask our Speaker Fraley and Chairman Al that we have a joint tribal working group identified, that there's work done before our meetings in preparation, that we really take action and show results at the next joint council meeting concerning these items. Then we need to plan joint lobbying efforts on an ongoing basis to achieve those federal initiatives. And we need a focused effort such as states of Tennessee. We've been successful. Former Chief Ross Swimmer went to Tennessee to fight those fake Cherokee groups that were seeking state recognition there. But we need to work together more in states such as Tennessee, where this is an ongoing threat. And then we also need consistent tribal consultation legislation or language, where President Obama has called for tribal consultation for all federal agencies. When we present our tribal consultation language, we need to ask that they stick with federal recognition, because agencies such as Health and Human Services are sending our research dollars and grant dollars to non-federally recognized tribes, and I don't think that's acceptable any longer. So I appreciate your time, and I hope you visit taskforce.cherokee.org. Wado.
Any comments or questions?
Madam Speaker, I fully agree with the comments that have been made here, and I appreciate the video. I took it home a couple weeks ago. My husband and I were sitting at the house alone, popped it in the DVD player and watched it, and we agree wholeheartedly that something needs to happen. All over the area where we come from, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, and I know it happens here, everybody and their brother has a full-blooded Eastern Cherokee Indian granny. and we are tired of it, and it is wrong, and what you said is absolutely correct, and that's why I appreciate joining with Western Nation, increasing our numbers, our lobbying capabilities, not just on a state level, but on a federal level. We in North Carolina, we are the only federally recognized nation in North Carolina. There are approximately 14,000 of us enrolled. But right now we're facing an issue, forgive me, with the Lumbee Nation, who comes in at 50,000 plus. Our housing funding was the first one to be affected. They get approximately 13, 14 million, and our funding has dwindled down to around 3. So the real Native American Indian people of the state of North Carolina seem to be punished because somebody down the state is not paying attention. Your presentation is outstanding. It is well written. You narrate it very appropriately. And I, for one, I cannot guarantee what Eastern Band will do, but if you're asking for support, I will help you. Every opportunity I can, I will be there to help you. And I thank you for your work.
I think I want Teresa on my side, Chairman.
Yes, Terry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This may be premature, but I was looking through the rules, and I don't see anywhere in here where we have committees to be established, and because where? Oh, okay. But perhaps when we get to the rules, maybe we can do an amendment to the rules to establish a committee. Maybe we can work on some language with that.
Those have been tabled.
Oh.
In the interest of time, they were tabled because I understand several of you need to leave.
Oh, okay. Indefinitely or to the next meeting? I'm sorry,
Yes.
I didn't understand that. I'm new. Thank you.
Thank you, though, for the comments. Any other?
I don't know. That was right.
Ms. Watts, thanks so much. That was excellent.
She works for me.
Our next report is a Katua Preservation Education Program. Renessa Walker.
It's too late for that. Didn't miss that, though.
Hello again, Renessa.
Hello again.
You didn't miss that, though.
Give me just a couple of seconds to set up. Shio Osio Totsuwa Edo Hidapadoa. Hello, Council, Chief, and Vice Chief. My name is Renessa Walker, and I'm the manager of the Katua Preservation and Education Program for the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Nation. In 2006, members of the Cherokee Nation joined us for our annual Language Revitalization Symposium. It was the largest gathering of East and West fluent speakers that anyone could recall. Moved by the experience of being and speaking together in their mother tongue, a group of speakers met the last evening of the event and decided to formalize the union of our fluent speakers and our language efforts. The following year, working together, the Speakers Consortium was formed and a memorandum of agreement was drafted and signed in 2008 by the Eastern Band, Cherokee Nation, Northeastern State University, and Western Carolina University. Today, we are proud to share the accomplishments and work that has been done over the past 2 years. To date, we have shared and critiqued each other's language materials, shared goals and assessments. We have lightened the workload across both language programs and universities by sharing resources. Regular communication has resulted in best practices in Cherokee language instruction. All 4 partners have shared in the planning and implementation of an annual Language Revitalization Symposium. Language scholars from the universities have participated in each other's conferences, and the Speakers Consortium convenes quarterly, face-to-face, to create new words for curricula and materials for immersion schools and universities. All of the MOA partners extend their deepest gratitude to both of our tribal governments for your support of our language efforts. Both of our tribes can be proud of the model language programs that are growing stronger and better because of our partnership. While the achievements of the MOA are great, the most profound and humbling experience has been watching our fluent speakers come together. Through their work, we have strengthened our fire and returned to a true Cherokee family and community. Just as our eldest generation of fluent speakers have formed friendships, so will our youngest speakers, our immersion students. To share our latest joint venture, Mr. Roy Boney. Thank you.
Thank you, Renessa.
Well, we've been working with the Eastern Band, our immersion schools, the Cherokee Nation immersion and the Eastern Band immersion. And just a couple of weeks ago, we successfully had the two schools connected via technology. So we're going to do a demonstration here. We're going to connect to some people out in North Carolina and to here, and we'll show some of the kids speaking and all this. So it's a pretty exciting time here. Are you? Yeah.
What's nice is that at the children are growing up in these immersion schools, and they felt like they were the only kids that spoke Cherokee. And now we've connected the schools so that. Oh my God. Background sound. Yo, Siggy. Go ahead, Jim. So, he won't, he know.
No here.
So, I pulled it unplugged, I guess. They're looking for me now. They're able to talk and chat, and this allows a cross-pollination of children talking to children, all in Cherokee. Everything, we got this capability now. We've got the Eastern Band version and Cherokee Nation version. And what's really influential is now that the teachers can talk to each other, and all this stuff is done completely in Cherokee. And now that the Mac computers support our language, we have chat, we have email, the kids type to each other. Our language is as technologically advanced as any language, and our kids are using it. And because of this technology, which I unfortunately unplugged, the kids are now talking to each other in the classroom. The teachers are sharing teaching devices. And this is what's been really great with what Vanessa was talking about, this ability to work together for our language. That our language is important. And these children now are going out and other children speak Cherokee. And so we share our curriculum with these programs, they share what they make with us, books and other curriculum. And so, here's the next generation of Cherokee speakers who are all tied together with computers. Our language has no barriers now. Our communities are not separate. Our schools and our education systems are built together now. And it's built in the language. We run servers all in Cherokees thanks to some technologies that we're utilizing from Apple. The Macs all come standard. Everyone sold in the world has Cherokee, has the ability to type. And our children have no problem thinking about these computers. They're Cherokee computers. My buddy on iChat, that's in the Eastern Band, we used to have pen pals. They have iChat pals, and they talk to them every day. So this is what's been happening because of your guys' strong leadership in combining our groups. And so our languages are combined. You can see the schools. If you haven't been to the immersion schools lately, I ask you to come.
Yeah.
I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
We're going to God. Si Johani, hold on.
Go ahead. Mikey dog.
So let me shut this. I'll show you a little thing of our texting. This is a chat room. And if you'll notice, it's all in Cherokee. Our language is utilized today. And we're very proud to share this with you because a couple years ago we didn't have this ability. We weren't connected linguistically, educationally, or culturally. Now we're tied together. We've tied the classrooms together. And this has been one of the largest joys is that our language works on email and chat. And if we're going to get our next language learners capable of feeling like their language is not a second-class language, you can learn everything that you want. You know, when foreign kids come over to this country, they do great in math and sciences, and they didn't study in English. Our kids can do great in math and sciences in Cherokee because our language is a language of intelligence. And it's technologically advanced today, thanks to some really good friends at our friendly local California computer company. So, if you're getting a computer, you want to use Cherokee, it's standard for anybody in the world. If you notice, we have Cherokee versions here, and I'll show you a little example of my bad Cherokee. OCO. Some of them already left here. Let's see. So I can start a group conversation with everybody. And it works. Let me enlarge that a little bit. There's our language. And this is what's really exciting about the next generation. We'll have every technologically tool that you can see. You're passing around a keypad that we designed so that the kids, there we go, Digajanuli, that's CO. They're all getting on. Here's Goga. But this is a brilliant way to use technology to use the language. And I thank you all for your support in connecting us and your MOAs and built us and built the opportunity for these kids to use the language again with each other from Eastern Band to Cherokee Nation. So Jeff and Roy will hand out some curriculum and it has videos, materials for all of you. And we got some. Feel free to read along. Use your Cherokee.
Again, councils, Cherokee Nation, Eastern Band, on behalf of all of the MOA partners, thank you so very much for your support of the MOA, because I ran into Dr. Morton yesterday at their luncheon, and I was kind of rambling because it's exciting. Especially the technology is exciting, and the amount of language resources that we share, we could never afford to have those created. And so by joining forces, we're making up for some lost time, because we can't go to Barnes & Noble and buy books or video games, or I can't go to McGraw-Hill and buy curriculum, you know. So this partnership has just strengthened our language programs. Wado, ski.
Thank you, Renessa, for you and your group's hard work in preserving the education program that you have there, and for working with us. Next report are the Moravian Archives. Mr. Cruz, Daniel Cruz, and Mr. Baker, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I would. A little over a year ago, the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band agreed to support a project with the Moravian Archives, and that the Moravian Archives will translate many of their original records. By the way, and I should back up a second, the Moravians were the first people to establish the mission among the Cherokees, which was in 1802. But some of their records go back to the 1750s, where they mention the Cherokees. but both nations have have agreed to support a project for the archives to translate from German script, which is an archaic script now, and into English, and also transcribe the English records, all records, so that they'll be available for publication and for use of historians, people interested in the culture, whatever. But Daniel Cruz is the archivist with the Moravian Archives, and he's here to report on how the project is going.
Mr. Cruz, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. 1 year ago, when I stood before the council on the sacred soil at Rig Clay, I asked for your endorsement and support, which was forthcoming. And I said at that time that I thought we would have the first volume out by the end of last year. When I returned home and told my assistant, Richard Starbuck, what I had said, he nearly had a fit of apoplexy, saying, we can't. Well, we worked real hard, and he turned out to be right. We couldn't quite get it out by the end of the year, not because we weren't working hard and diligently at it, but because when we assembled all of the materials we had from this earliest period, we found that we had twice as much as we thought. We thought we would produce one 400-page volume. We found out to do all of that would be over 800 pages. So then we had to fall back and recoup. And so what we have done is produce the first volume, about 400 pages, which gets us all the way up to 1802. And this is some of the exploratory records and other things that, and talking about Cherokee culture and the way Moravians interacted. The second volume is well underway. We spent the last week with Richard scrolling down the computer screen from the translation, and me holding the 200-year-old manuscript in German just to make sure we got everything just right. So we're working very hard and hope to have that volume 2 out by this fall. Other volumes will be coming along appropriately. But we have formal copies here to present to the principal chiefs and assistant principal chiefs of the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. And we also have copies here to begin to distribute to the members of the Tribal Council so that you can see what it is we have. And if any of you would like these signed, we'll do it after the meeting or at lunch or something like that. But we do want to thank the Cherokee Nation and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians for the endorsement and continued financial support. Jack Baker, member of the council, for sort of coordinating all the various people involved in this. The Cherokee National Historical Society and the Cherokee National Press for actually doing the publishing of this. The University of Oklahoma Press for publicizing and distributing the volumes, these and subsequent volumes. And frankly, we want to thank all who have encouraged us over the last year or so, saying, I just can't wait for it to be out. Well, it is out, and we humbly offer it to you for your approval. Thank you.
Yes. Madam Speaker. Dr. Cruz, Daniel, would you read an excerpt from the very first page from 1752 or 3?
One excerpt that I hope will give you something of the flavor of it. If I can get to the first page after all the editorial introduction and words of thanks. Yes, it describes the state of the Indian tribes in North Carolina in September of 1752, and after lamenting the fact that the Chouans and others have been reduced, Tuscaroras, and that many others are in a sad state, it says, southwest from here, behind South Carolina, are the Cherokees, a great nation. We thought you were a great nation in 1752, and we think you're a great nation now. So, thank you very much for your support.
And we'd like to make a presentation.
Mr. Cruz, don't leave yet. Mr. Baker has a presentation for you.
For you and Mr. Starbuck. If you and Richard would come forward, we'd like to present you with a gift in appreciation of getting out the first volume. Yes. Shirley, appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Next order of business is new business items, and looks like we're down to number 3, a resolution supporting the forgiveness journey. Mr. Dan Coyas and Carol Bradley Long. Are they here? Oh, there they are.
Hello, I'm Carol Bradley Long. I'm a member of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, and I live in Big Cove community. I'm really honored to be here. It's my first time coming to a joint council session. I was at Red Clay, but I didn't have the honor or privilege to attend the session. I was there for other activities and stuff. I'm representing today the Cherokee Healing and Wellness Coalition. It has been organized since 2000, and this is a group of people that work with people in addiction and all kinds of things. And most of the people that are in the organization are healthcare providers. We deal with the addicted people on a daily basis. So, and my job right now is with the drug court, which is a very daily thing, and way into the night. So we have been doing different conferences on healing and wellness and working on forgiveness things. And Don Coyas is from the White Bison. He's the executive director, and he's really working with us on a lot of issues here. He developed a Native American 12-step program that we use for our intensive outpatient therapy in Cherokee, and we have groups going on in Cherokee, the 12-step groups. We have several groups going, and when people work these groups, they realize that, we're missing culture in a lot of the things that's happening. So Don suggested that we do a backward forgiveness journey, starting from here and going back to Cherokee, North Carolina. And I apologize for blindsiding the Cherokee Nation. I don't have any contacts with you guys, and I'd love to have some. I'd love to open up some correspondence with people, some communication, so we can have people working on this end, on healing and wellness. I'm sure you have a lot of things happening. I'm just astounded by all the programs that you have, and I know that you have people working on these issues. And it'd be great if we could connect and work together, because we are one people. I was thinking of yesterday about how you guys are so welcoming and everything, and when you talk, you say brothers and sisters. We're not a nation divided, we're family divided. And I'd like for us to kind of connect and work on reuniting the family. So Mr. Coyas has his presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Don Coyas. I'm a member of the Mohican Nation, and I was born for the Turtle Clan on my mother's side, and my Indian name is Tatankawambli. I'm also 31 years sober as of last August, and I have 8 children. All my children are sober. I have 18 grandchildren. They're all sober, and our family, through a lot of work, has broken the cycle of addiction that resided in our family on our reservation for many, many, many years. And I'm just really honored to stand before this great Cherokee Nation. I'm just kind of in awe how much you're doing here, and you can just feel the passion out of your leadership for the people, and that's what it takes. You guys love the people, and it really shows, to me as an outsider. Very briefly, White Bison came into existence in 1988. We are guided by a council of elders, and we work a lot with the elders and the clan mothers, and we found in taking on the issues around the alcoholism and all those things, the alcoholism, the drug abuse, the violence, the sexual abuse, all of that touches, we found it was all interconnected and it's all related to one another. So over the years we have developed cultural-based programs in areas of prevention, treatment, and various disciplines, with the design that when we take it to a community, they add their culture to what we do. It's not transferring culture from somewhere else, but it's designed to allow your culture to be implemented in the program. And just very briefly, is why would we ever take a look at issues around forgiveness? And so in 3 minutes, I'm going to tell you the foundation for that. When we take a look at what happened to us as a result of the federal government, something you're very familiar with was the Manifest Destiny that started to authorize and trigger the removals of many Native communities. And so there was a great assault that went on the people, and it wasn't just Cherokees, but there were other nations that the government started to relocate here to this area of Oklahoma. And so the Manifest Destiny started by 1979. They started the system of boarding schools. Many of you are familiar with what the boarding school system was. Over 500 boarding schools were created, and they took the children away from our communities to educate them. By 1920s, the assault was so great on the Native communities that 99% of the Native population had been wiped out. There was a great assault across the nations. That's a lot of people don't know. The assault actually left us with only 1% of our population. And so by 1934, the government got the churches involved in the boarding school system. Then there seemed to be a turnaround by 1960s when we started to get involved in our own educational system. 1969, we started to hear things from the elders about the prophecies, that there was a time of healing was going to happen. And so I was working for NASA as an engineer. I worked from Apollo 6 through Apollo 13. And so I knew they had put eagle feathers on that lunar module. And what the old people told us, there was a prophecy that talked about when the healing time would come. And what they said, when the eagle lands on the moon, we're going to enter a time of healing. So in that period in 1969, those eagle feathers went up on the lunar module. And when it landed on the moon, if you recall, the first words ever spoken from the moon, it said, the eagle has landed. So in that particular tribe where those prophecies were told, it had great significance. They said, get ready, the time is coming, we're going into healing. In another community, what they said is, the old people told them, this is how you'll know the healing time comes. They said that a spider is going to build a web around the earth. And when that web is done, they said that a woman is going to come forward and she's going to speak on that web, and all nations heard her voice, which today we believe is the internet. And we just saw a very good example of how you are using the web. You're talking to one another. Distance doesn't mean what it used to mean. Another thing they told us is that they said when the sun gets blocked in the seventh moon, that is the sign of the healing time. 1991, the week prior to this elders gathering, there was a major solar eclipse. And what they said you would do is you would see in this healing time young people with old spirits. They said, watch the children. That some of our young children, some of you are nodding your head because I know you know what I mean. You have them here in the Cherokee Nation, the young people with those old spirits. And so by 1978, they passed the Religious Indian Freedom Act. It was against the law to do ceremonies, etc. By the 80s, you started to see other national organizations form. White Bison formed in 1988. And then, according to our Council of Elders, we put on a series of cross-country journeys. Started going to the grassroots, to the communities, talking about healing, the prophecies, and the time is here, and we're working on our sobriety. And so as these journeys continued, then by 2003, 2009, it's just like this thing we call a well-briety movement, not sobriety, well-briety. It started to expand and creep across the United States. And then we just finished the 5th group journey called the Forgiveness Journey. One of the greatest lessons we learned in the 22 years we have been doing this was always trying to figure out, why do we wrestle with alcoholism like we do? Why can't we get a good handle on that? And then meth comes along, and after meth, and there's prescription drugs, and then there's what is going on that we can never get a handle on that. And of course we write grants, we get evidence-based programs from the government, and we get all sorts of programs going, but it's hard for us to make progress in that area. Thanks to Dr. Maria Braveheart and Dr. Duran and some of those did some early work, we started to find out something called intergenerational trauma. And a long time ago, when we took a look at our communities, this was where we got our knowledge. We got it from the earth. And from the earth we saw there's a seen world and unseen world. We found that was our way of life, and many of us say this was where we got the original culture, the teachings from. And so the way that our communities looked in those days is we were in harmony. That's what how people talked. They said, oh, they're in harmony with the earth and those things. So this is the way our communities were at one time. This is the way your nations were at one time. At the basis of your community, you had the language, the spirituality, the healing, the elders' teachings, and you're going to see some characters move. But here we taught our young boys how to become men. It wasn't by accident, it wasn't MTV. We knew how to raise children. And of course we taught the young girls what they were supposed to do. And then the women, we taught them to become elders. And the men, we taught them to become elders. So we created an elder system. Then those elders is who we went to. We went to them, Grandpa, how do I do this? What about this? And that was the system that we had. During these days, we didn't have problems with alcoholism, drug abuse, teen suicides, domestic violence. It was almost non-existent. We had problems, but we knew how to solve and resolve problems. And this is the way our communities was at one time. Isn't that cool? This is what it was at one time. Then something happened to us as we head towards understanding why do we need to talk about forgiveness. Something happened that took us from this type of a community, that many of our communities, this is how we would describe them today. Something happened. It's something that was funded by the United States government, actually. And this is something called the boarding school era. The government wanted to do something about the Indian problem. And so the Department of War created some funding. They started a pilot school in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, of where they went and they started taking the children away from the communities. Actually, the first group of children that went to Carlisle, they were the children of the leadership. See what they did? They took the leadership, they took their children and put them in Carlisle. And so in 1879 it started, and it was, in their terms, successful. So the United States government funded the building of over 500 boarding schools throughout the United States. And the purpose of that was to take the children and to change the way of life that we knew it. And so the way that it worked was they started taking the children from our communities. You see what they were doing? Breaking the cycle of what we were teaching them. And they said, we'll teach them. So as they took the children to the boarding schools, then they didn't teach what we taught them. They wouldn't teach them our language, they taught something else. They didn't teach our culture, they taught something else. It was very significant that the language would take away. On this journey across the United States, we run into a grandma who actually had, every time she spoke her language, they would take her in another room and they would chop a finger off and not tell her, because she didn't understand English, why they did that. And she said, that's why I only have 2 fingers left. When the 3rd finger, I understood, don't speak the language. You think that's true? That really happened? See, we know that. Now what happens is, when you hear that story, you start to get this feeling. It's like a sadness, like a cry, like a sorrow. What that feeling is linked to is something called intergenerational trauma. We're all carrying that around, but don't necessarily know it. So as they took these teachings away from us, they experienced another thing. It's here where in many of the boarding schools the kids were beat, took away the language, no teaching, sexual abuse went on, soap in the mouth, no ceremonies, culture, cut your hair. So when these children grew up and they came back to the community, here's where we saw the first higher levels of alcoholism in our communities. This is where we saw the violence. We were not violent before. This is where we started to see the sexual abuse. And to give you a very quick idea of that so we can go on, I want to, if I'm successful, play a very, very short video to put this in perspective. Please work.
There is one dark day in the lives of Indian children, the day when they are forcibly taken away from those who love and care for them, from those who speak their language. They are dragged, some screaming and weeping, others in silent terror, to a boarding school where they are to be remade into white kids.
By the late 19th century, the Indian Wars were over. The United States seized on a ruthless strategy to assimilate native children to a subordinate place in white-dominated society. Government-run boarding schools.
I was 5 years old. My mother was crying and they were taking us off, and my sister Audrey, who also, was like a second mother to me, and a very close friend as a sister. And my brother Mark, they were very sad. Within 2 hours or so after the buses filled up and we were down the road, this is the furthest I've ever been from my home in my life. And then of course it turns into evening and we arrive at this place.
I ended up in a place where nothing made any sense at all. It wasn't home. It wasn't. I didn't know anything about school. Nobody ever told me anything about school. I didn't know what the education was. I remember that I wanted to go home. Period. I didn't want to be there. I just wanted to go home.
And we all had to strip down naked, and then they put the DDT on us, they line us up, they're cutting our hair. You have long hair, you have braids, and then that gets cut off. And I would say within a matter of hour and a half, we're standing there, all looking alike.
Between the 1870s and the 1960s, over 100,000 Indian children were sent to one of the nearly 500 boarding schools scattered across the United States.
Through the agencies of the government, they are being rapidly brought from their state of comparative savagery and barbarism to one of civilization.
you couldn't sing any native songs or tribal songs. They just started using English. You could not use any other language. And we'd whisper it. Pass the Bequajiga, pass the bread over. It's like I had to be two people. I had to be Now Cummig and I had to be Dennis Banks. Now Cummig is my real name, my Ojibwe name. Dennis Banks had to be very protective of Now Cummig. And so I learned who the presidents were, and I learned the math, I learned the social studies, I learned the English, and Now Cummig was still there.
This is education that was promised us, that was guaranteed us through the treaties. But it wasn't. It's torture, brainwashing. They called us many different names. Savage, dumb. And we got beat for looking like an Indian, smelling like an Indian, even speaking Indian. Everything I did.
Their de-Indianization program, it failed. But the toll was devastating. It destroyed our family. It destroyed that relationship we had with our mother. I could never regain that friendship, loveship relationship that I had with my mother. It wasn't there anymore. And that's what, to this day, I keep thinking that, damn this government, what it did to me, and what it did to thousands of other children across this country.
So we hear a lot of talk that used to be going on. What they said is then, now is now. It happened back there, just forget it. It doesn't matter anymore. Well, what we now know due to our own researchers is what they are telling us is that we are actually carrying this around. Even some of us, we don't know that. It is being handed down generation to generation on what happened in those, and today we call it something called historical trauma. And historical trauma is the purposeful removal of, it's actually an assault on a culture that takes away culture, language, land, people, way of life, religion, and destroys the family structure. But this is the effect of why we're heading for forgiveness to this, is as those young ones came back, they went to adulthood, then what you started to see, they didn't know the language. They didn't know the ceremonies. They weren't taught that. And so when they become the elders, we had nobody to go to. And then sometimes they feel bad because you can't speak the language, because you don't know some of the ceremonies. And so it started to change our entire system as we knew it, you see, at one time. The name of that program that was submitted to Congress was called Kill the Indian, Save the Man. That was introduced, that Congress sponsored that bill. And so what we got back instead was the violence, the sexual abuse, not ability to love. What we need to know is that this historical trauma is buried deep in our psyche. We don't know that we're carrying it around until all of a sudden you start to feel some of those feelings. And that we now know that this historical trauma is connected to present day issues. Is it connected to suicides? If you trace it back, is it connected to sexual abuse? If you trace it back, is it connected to the violence? If you trace it back. And so what we know now is that this historical trauma has to be dealt with. We are very, very sure, even research is showing, is alcohol is not the problem, it's a symptom of something else. Meth is not the problem, it's a symptom of something else. Domestic violence is not the problem, it's a symptom of something else. That something else is something that was taken away. It was something was taken away from us as a people. And so we're still teaching the children, the little trees, see, we still teach the children. Unfortunately, though, many of our children are going to treatment, they're going to prison, they're going to the court system, and unfortunately, too many are going to heaven. In 2 weeks, I will go to a community in South Dakota that had 100 documented teenage suicide attempts in 6 months. The community is in shock because when you start experiencing that, it's like it's hard to go on as many visits because you just lose a child. That's gold, you see, to us. So this is what we must change generation to generation. And so where we went out of harmony, we know how do we get it back is bring back the spirituality, is to bring back the culture. Like I think they said Mr. Hastings, he knew that, and he spent his life, he knew that what maybe some other people didn't see, and I was really touched by the recognition of him for that dedication of bringing back the culture. So what is it we must do? And this is something I can see you're doing already. Often the Cherokees are ahead of everybody else because you just have this momentum and you have this carrying on it. And instead of historical trauma, what we have to look at is intergenerational healing. Are you able to bring back your culture? Language? You are already bringing back your language. Look at what you're doing to it. That was somebody tried to take away, but it didn't. But the land, the people's health, way of life, religion, and family structure. So this is what happened was, our council of elders last year, they told us, we want you to make another journey across the United States, and this time we want you to go to the boarding schools. We want you to gather the stories. So we went over to Chemawa, which is located in Salem, Oregon, and we traveled 7,000 miles going to the boarding schools. We'd go to boarding school travel. We did that for 50 days, having those who went to the boarding schools come and tell us stories of what happened to them when they were little children. Some of them was the first time they ever told what really happened to them. That journey was it was the most difficult thing I've ever done, watching elders and people who went to the boarding school tell a story of what happened to them when they were little. We received 4 instructions. One is to go to the boarding schools, and you need to talk to the people and tell them the only way we can be free of the intergenerational trauma that we're carrying around is going to be forgiveness. And they said, for this, as far as this journey is concerned, no lawsuits. And then they give us a ceremony. We went to the grave sites. Chemawa had 300 kids buried there, and they give us a ceremony. We had to go there and do the ceremony to make an apology to those little spirits that we left them there. And then the second part of the ceremony is to tell those little spirits we come to bring you home, that you don't have to stay here anymore. So it got to be a very moving. The elders also gave us a teaching. They said, when you go, there's some teachings that you have to follow. Recognize what historical trauma is. Acknowledge that it did happen. Forgive, and then to change. That was the teachings that we were to follow. And then they give us the 4 directions for forgiveness. Your normal forgiveness, they said there's a type called forgiving the unforgivable. There's a type called forgiving yourself, and a type called forgiving others to set their spirits free. And so we started this journey across the United States. And so this is what happened. When we finished the journey in Cherokee, at the Indian Museum in Washington, D.C., there were many of the Cherokee people had come and joined to that journey. And as the conversation took place, it started to say, the death that was occurred on the trail, I heard many of you say, let's not forget the trail. Don't forget that trail. And I was almost cried when I talked. I heard some of you say, and when I went back home, I really felt home. I almost cried. It was like that. So this is what it's about, is to hold a gathering here in Oklahoma. And at this gathering, it'd be a 3-day intergenerational trauma gathering, but to invite all the tribes who were forced marched here to Oklahoma to have their stories told there. And then to make a journey back to Cherokee, North Carolina. Then hold a gathering there with 4 stops. They know where the 4 stops are for where people are buried. And so...
Mr. Coinas?
Yes?
I apologize profusely, but some of the Eastern Band people need to leave. So can we go ahead and take action on this resolution?
Sure, I
Please
understand.
forgive me for interrupting. I apologize.
No problem.
My mom was a part of that boarding school era, so I understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
But I'd like to go ahead and take action if you would allow that.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Given that I think this deserves a lot more consideration and there's money attached with it, it sounds like, and other commitments, and after talking with our behavioral health department and local elders in our community, there was no prior knowledge to this, so I make a motion to table.
I have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Baker, second. All in favor of tabling signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will table. The item is tabled.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate
Thank you.
the presentation. Next business item is item 4. It's a resolution supporting the safety of Native women. And Ms. Henry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Do I need to read this resolution into the record? Is that the way everybody's... Okay. Madam Speaker and Chairman Al, I provided the council with a briefing paper as well. I'm hoping that you all have received it. Essentially, if I can just read those two paragraphs there, just to kind of give some people who are listening on the television and to this to know what we're talking about. Essentially, what I'm asking for is support of a piece of federal legislation, actually 2 pieces of federal legislation to increase the safety of violence against, to prevent this, increase the safety of Native women in preventing violence against women. And that it would be to support the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act of 2006 and the technical amendments, and then reauthorization of the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act, and then the Nation-to-Nation Consultation on Violence Against Women Act with the United States Department of Justice. Congress must not ignore the devastating impact that violence against Native women has on tribal communities. The United States Department of Justice estimates that 1 in 3 Indian women will be raped and that 6 of 10 will be physically assaulted in their lifetimes. This violence threatens the lives of Indian women and the future of American Indian and Alaska Native villages. Ending this historic pattern of violence requires that the federal government fulfill its legal trust responsibility to assist the tribal governments in safeguarding the lives of their citizens. To address this complicated jurisdictional issues created for Indian tribes by federal Indian law and lack of resources, a resolution is put before this joint council to support the reauthorization and technical amendments to the Violence Against Women Act, or VAWA. Reauthorization of the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act, and support for nation-to-nation consultation as required of the United States Department of Justice. Madam Speaker, I have provided a briefing paper that's attached to this memorandum, and encourage you all to read that. Essentially, we're asking for that the tribes sign on through this resolution to support the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, the Family Violence Prevention Services Act, and to participate in the 2010 Nation-to-Nation consultation. That would be my motion.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 5 is a resolution supporting the special diabetes program. Ms. Gower is ill and unable to be here, so presenting that is Dr. Bradley Cobb, our chairman of the Health Committee. I'm sorry, Ms. Terry?
Madam Speaker, I'm sorry. My colleague Jacqueline Atuka is handing out a couple of briefs that we wanted to share with you all as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dr. Cobb?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This resolution, the Special Diabetes Program for Indians, was created by the United States Congress as part of a Balanced Budget Act in '97. It was funded for $30 million annually. In 2000, consolidated appropriations in '01 added $70 million a year, and in 2002, this program was extended through the federal fiscal year of 2008, and funding was increased to $150 million annually. In 2009, the diabetes program for Indians was extended through the federal fiscal year of 2011. Those of you may not know, I'm an optometrist, but my residencies were in diabetic retinopathy and age-related macular degeneration. And this is a very special, close to my heart type thing. And I know, I don't believe my co-chair is here, Janelle Fulbright. I know this is extremely important to her also. What we're asking is that the Cherokee Nation and Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians support an annual increase of $50 million for the Special Diabetes Program starting in fiscal year 2012 and extending that program through 2016 at the federal level. And I would put that in the form of a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 6 is a resolution supporting the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Ms. Melanie Knight, our Secretary of State. Where'd she go? Oh, Corey, you don't look like Melanie, but you'll do.
I'm sorry, I'm not Melanie Knight, but I'm here representing Melanie Knight, Secretary of State for the Cherokee Nation and the Education Services Group for the Cherokee Nation. And today we are presenting a resolution in support of the reauthorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and otherwise known as the No Child Left Behind Act. The original act was established in the 1960s. It's changed several times for the federal government. The latest version was the No Child Left Behind Act. As an educator, I tell you that there are lots of shortfalls with this particular act that need to be corrected. In this resolution, several of those are addressed, but this resolution is up for reauthorization by the 111th Congress. And the Obama administration has proposed several reforms, and they have recently outlined their blueprint for reforms. Basically, the three main objectives are to raise the standards, to reward those who achieve success, and this is the most important part, is to increase local control. So it will give local control back to us somewhat and increase our flexibility in spending. The overall goal with this would be to have all high school students that graduate to be prepared for college and or career by the year 2020 without any needs for remediation. So this is the resolution that we are presenting to you today. Would like for the both tribal councils to send a clear and a strong joint message to all who will listen that you support education for all Cherokee people. And I would entertain questions.
Mr. Garvin? Yeah. Moved in second. Discussion? Ms. Campbell? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 7 is a resolution supporting the Remembrance Removal Tour. Mr. Inslee? He had to leave.
Yes.
Terry, do you want to present
I can speak
that?
on this, yes. Thank you very much. We have several of us who, on this council actually, who ride motorcycles. And I know that motorcycles can be kind of a daunting issue for some folks. But we have a group of people from back home who want to share and remember our survival. Remember those who had to experience the Trail of Tears, but to remember our survival. And so with that, these gentlemen, the Brothers in the Wind is the name of their organization. They are, myself and Vice Chairman Inslee are participating in their board of directors, and we have been working very diligently with them. They would like to come to Tahlequah on August the 30th. They would leave Cherokee. They would follow the Bell detachment along the trail, and they would arrive in Tahlequah on September the 1st, and then would like to participate in the parade if that's something that could happen. But these are men and women who are mostly sober individuals, and so they are very committed to this. They've participated with there's another Trail of Tears ride, and they have been not very happy with the way that has turned out, and so they have kind of taken off and taken the lead on this on themselves. I would make a motion to pass this resolution, Madam Speaker, and I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have about this.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Question's been called. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
And item 8 is a resolution continuing support of the Sequoia birthplace in Vonore, Tennessee. Are you taking that, Mr. Shell?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Diamond had to leave earlier. Diamond Brown also serves on the board that oversees the Sequoia Birthplace Museum in Vonore, Tennessee. 1986 was when this museum was founded. I think Chief Mankiller was in office at that time, and she attended that. I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to go there, but if you haven't been, I think it's very important that you go, and not only to see the Birthplace Museum, but also see where a lot of you come from. A lot of these areas, you know, where your traditional homelands and a lot of our major villages were located in this area where Sequoia was born. The towns of Tanasi and Chota and these other towns were located there. You know, with council houses that held 500 people. But Sequoia is probably our most recognized and our most famous Cherokee. And I think that it's time to update that museum. Our board has gotten together and talked about it. Right now it's more or less an archaeological period-to-period museum where it covers a lot of area. What we've done is we've retained Donald Lawrence Productions. They've done productions for the Lewis and Clark Visitor Center, the National Infantry Museum at Fort Benning, the Constitution Center in Philadelphia. Won a bunch of awards. They're putting together a different exhibit for the museum, for the Sequoia Birthplace Museum. It's going to cost about $1.7 million. But I'm not asking for any money today. We're trying to raise that on our own. I know that this has to go back. It has to be approved by your councils and by our executives. You know, they present that. But so I'm not asking for that today. But we are working on funding that through our foundation back home and in other ways. What I ask him for, though, is support for you from you to take this. It's, you know, he's common to all of us. You know, East, West, Katua. He's common to all. He's a Cherokee. Although the new approach to this will be focused on the period of his life, roughly 1776 when he was born, until he passed in 1843. But this would deal with things that happened to him in his life. I don't know if y'all knew, but he was a soldier. He was in the United States Army. He's recognized in, I think, a couple writings where he was recognized for his outstanding service in the Creek Wars. He fought against the Creeks. And not only that, 10 years before he developed the syllabary, he was a blacksmith. And in 201 years ago, in his blacksmith shop, he announced that he was going to develop a syllabary because there wasn't a numbering system there. They could speak and say 2 + 2 is 4, but there was no way to write that. So he developed symbols 10 years before he developed the alphabet for a numbering system. But this would be more of a focus, this exhibit would be more focus on his life and his times during that period. So If anyone has any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them, but I'd like to make a motion to pass this at this time.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Question's been called. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Before we adjourn, I want to, Chairman Al, would you like to say a few words before we adjourn? And lunch is provided in the Sequoia Room number 1 next door. And people that are still here, you're welcome to join us for lunch.
Okay. I just want to say thank you once again for all the hospitality and all you guys taking care of us while we're here. Couldn't ask for anything better. It's been a great week. Been a long week. I know it's going to be a long ride. So I just thank you. I have Perry and Terry who want to make some closing remarks also. So.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, we wanted to just show our appreciation to Diane Kelly, and we have one of the board, what is it called? The burnings that you all received last night, and the gifts from us. And I just wanted to present that to her. I don't believe she's here, but if you would please hand this to her, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Certainly
we want
will.
to appreciate her outstanding work that she did with us yesterday. And she herded a lot of cats, and she did a fantastic job.
She's a worker bee.
As did Gail. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll give that to Gail and make sure that she gets it. Was that all you needed, Terry? Perry, did you have a few comments?
Just also like to do a last thank you for your hospitality, for making us feel like we're at home. And I think that we accomplished a lot here today. I think there are issues, and I was really, really impressed with what's being done with the Cherokee language. You know, talked about Sequoia a while ago. Now he's moved into the internet as well. You know, all that's from him. You see that keyboard that went around. But and I just hope we continue this, because this is our most important battle: protect our identity, protect our culture, because that defines who we are. That's why I stand so in 100% support of the resolution to fight the wannabe tribes. You know, you got everybody claiming a heritage that's not theirs. Everybody from Beyonce to Jay-Z to Elvis Presley to Bill Clinton and everybody else in between. Yeah, but I think that is some of our most important battles that we have ahead of us. You know, we're not fighting a war on a battlefield, but we're fighting for the minds of people and for protect our heritage. But I thank you all, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Scheme.
Mr. Crow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One thing we've been talking about all of us being brothers and sisters here, and I've noticed this while I've been here this week. One thing that I would like to see, hopefully going into the future here, is that we have the Gadua Band representatives. That way we can all three have a joint council among all of us. We're all brothers and sisters. I know there's a lot of times we don't agree on things, but that's the way families are. But going forward in the future, I hope and would love to see us get those guys involved and be part of this joint council going forward here, whether in North Carolina or Oklahoma. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on the Eastern Band? Mr. Baker, I understand you want to say something?
Yes, please. That was the exact conversation that Hastings Shade and I had, the last real conversation that we had, was that one day we might close the circle. And I pray that that will happen soon.
Any other comments from the... Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with that 100%. You know, the fights that we fight today, we're not out killing people, but we're out fighting to preserve our culture, our identity. This video that Kara showed up there about the theft identity, that had those guys involved on it there with us, and that's where I strongly believe that once we all come together and unite, it's going to be hard to beat all of us, sir. I'd like to see them represented here, please. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Anyone else? Mr. Garvin or Chris?
Yes, Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I would just like to say that we give appropriate consideration to some of the items that were tabled our cousin Don, he came from a long ways and to bring this message of forgiveness. And I just think that we need to seriously consider that. I know we were kind of restrained for time today or had the time constraints, and so, but it's laid upon my heart to make sure that these separate councils consider that piece of legislation in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Soap. Mr. Crittenden, did you have anything further?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Glory Jordan?
I just echo the comments made that I hope that we will consider at the next joint council extending an invitation to the UKB to come and participate so we do close that circle.
Mr. Buzzard?
No, thank you.
You're not going to say anything?
I think everybody said it all.
Mr. Baker?
Yes, I was going to say I appreciate everyone's attendance from the east, and it was our pleasure to have you here. And we look forward to our visit to you in Cherokee.
Dr. Cobb? Kara?
I'm looking forward to my next visit to Cherokee and appreciate all the time you've given us so that we can share our community with you.
Mr. Chairman, I really appreciate when we go visit your people, not your people, visit North Carolina. I appreciate the hospitality and appreciate you bringing that forward about, as Mr. Baker said, closing the circle. And that's a wonderful thought. At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.